ready for the flight. Together we'll shine, casting shadows aside, in the heart of the rhythm where our dreams collide.
Join the Nation X quest, the truth is our guide. In the vast expanse, it's where we reside. Hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves around us, everything's alright.
From the Nation X quest, the truth is our guide. In the vast expanse, it's where we reside. Hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves surround us, everything's alright. SNX radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spots. Heavy bass drops with tight beats.
Illuminate the shadows, the echo of our call.
On this roller ring we'll never fall.
Feel the energy rising, can you sense the spark? As we dive deeper into the cosmic arc.
Stories of the universe, mysteries unfold. In the heart of SNX, where the truth is gold. Every note we play, every line we write, crafting our legacy, shining ever bright.
SNX radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spot. Here in the spotlight, we're taking our turn. With the fire in our hearts, let the passion burn. SNX radio's call, ringing through the air. Together we rise, together we dare.
So join us now, let the rhythm flow. With SNX radio, we're ready to go. Unraveling the mystery side by side, we stand hand in hand. In this dance of truth, let the story expand.
Silence of space, we drift and we roam, finding our place in the vastness we call home. With courage and wonder, we reach for the light, guided by visions that illuminate the night. Mystery cloaked in the past unknown, truth and discovery, seeds we sow. In the starlit wonder, we seek the key to unlock the secrets of our galaxy. Dreams that fill the night. Stars are our compass, and time is our friend. Together we'll journey where stories transcend. Mystery cloaked in the vast unknown. Truth and discovery, seeds we sow. In the starlit wonder, we seek the key to unlock the secrets of our galaxy. Chasing the dreams that fill the night. Stars are our compass, and time is our friend. Together we'll journey where stories transcend. Mystery cloaked in the vast unknown. Truth and discovery, seeds we sow. In the starlit wonder, we seek the key to unlock the secrets of our galaxy. Through endless horizons, our spirits ignite. Chasing the dreams that fill the night. Stars are our compass, and time is our friend. Together we'll journey where stories transcend. Through endless horizons, our spirits ignite. Chasing the dreams that fill questions that echo through an endless sky. Bound by the stars, our story unfolds. In the universe, our destinies are told.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to
Night we dream and fly. With questions that echo through an endless sky. Bound by the stars, our story unfolds. In the universe, our destinies are told.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another SNX episode. I'm Coley. Can everybody? I guess I'm just in a little bit of a weird predicament in there. Can somebody in chat tell me whether or not you can see me on the stage? Because I can't see myself. So I'm just wondering if that's ongoing or if I guess other people can see me too. If not, we will definitely deal with it. So we got a lot going on this evening. We got an excellent lineup of guests. And we're gonna do some fun stuff. Oh, you can see me. Okay. Well, I guess I just can't see myself. That's okay though. I'm glad to know. I'm glad to know. So anyway, going through, I wanted to say hello. Start off with our chat. Our chat of amazing, amazing people. I see my girl Polly Rotterman in there. Hey, Kitty. We got Kitty Whack, and welcome. Welcome. Nice to see you. Let's see here. If anybody I missed, going down. Kurt W75. Always nice to see you, buddy. And excuse me, and I'm going to leave it at that. It's nice to have you. I don't have my glasses on. I should. Hermione Homestead, great and welcome. And then, oh gosh, who do we have coming up next? Galactic Fire, Tease and oh, that's our girl, Sonny Galactic. And Tim Mouth, or AKA Mothman, is in the chat. Always gotta love Tim. He's great. And then going on, Mad Pax, nice to have you, Bow Girl. Hey. Oh, Gian from the Boundless Authenticity podcast. Welcome. That's a great show. If you haven't seen it, I definitely encourage you to go over and check it out. The claim. I'm going 315 Storm. Welcome. I'm Marjorie Long. Hey, Vow Girl. Nice to have you. DJ Long. Marjorie Long. Hey, glad to have you guys. And if I missed anybody along the way, oh, I see a few of you. Oh my gosh, Anthus. And two, I will get back to you also too. If I had missed you the first time and go back around, there's a lot of you in chat tonight, which is super cool. Oh wow, Travis Wolfer Moonstep. I'm just Chiro Sounds. Okay. Yeah, so and like I said, I'm not ignoring any of you. The chat is hopping tonight. That is excellent news. So so we're all here tonight. We have two special guests. Our first guest that we're gonna bring forward will be Corey Goode, followed and then James Gilliland. But the reason that we're going to bring Corey out here in just a minute is to address Twitter. And Twitter is one of my big platforms that I have that I stream on. And going back a few years ago, if any of you do not remember this, I don't, then you maybe weren't in the same community as we were, but there was a pretty well, just a full-fledged like campaign that went against Corey. They claimed that all sorts of things about him, and it was a lot. It was a lot. He really went under, the scrutiny. He went under the attacks. He sat, and doing all this. And I have to say, like, in sitting back and some of the research that I was doing, and I, was a researcher, so I don't know what my excuse was, but I fell into some of those things too. And it wasn't until James came on my show and James started talking about Corey, and then I was like, James, are you sure about Corey? And then he's like, yeah, no, he's great. And then it really kind of like made me take a step back here and I'm like, you know what? Of all the things that have been going on these past couple of years, and in all the stuff that we are at a place right now where we should know that the people that are, platformed in this community aren't the actual people that they say they are. We should also know that, people, when these types of rumors go about and why they go about, they're done very calculatedly. They are done methodically. They're done with the intention and often carried out with some of our uh, CIA counterintelligence that is in the community. And it sucks really and really bad. Just to put it blankly, it sucks. When this happens to you, it not only can destroy you as a person, it can destroy your family. It can destroy how you feel, your stability, like your emotional, like regulation alone. I mean, this isn't good. It's not healthy and it's not fair in so many ways. So, I guess with all that being said, we're going to Twitter. I know that you guys are watching over there. So, I encourage you, if you haven't done so, to like, comment, share, and subscribe because we are going to be addressing you here shortly. I'm just going to go and give you a little background on Mr. Corey Goode and the exciting things that he has coming up because they are very exciting. And then, yeah, we get, and of course, James Gilliland too. So this is like the rock star lineup today. I'm super super excited about it. And yeah, like I said, keep an open heart, keep an open mind. I did see Twitter. You guys are like getting a little rambunctious over there, but you just need to chill for a second. And like I said, every person deserves their right to tell their own story. Like, this is, for what it's worth, it's still the United States of America, and that's where we're at here. And you still have that right and you shouldn't automatically, people shouldn't automatically be jumping on these trains because of the destruction that they're doing to other people. We can't just be like, oh, well, you know what? I might not like that person. Or, oh, they're some competition to me. That's not a good enough reason anymore. That's really not. And I encourage each and every one of you, if you've been through something like this or you have, like, really stick close to one another. We shouldn't be so far apart and divided. We definitely should be closer together and we definitely should be helping one another out. And when one goes through something like that, then you have your friends to back you up. That's why we're here together. And so I just want to encourage you to really do that. I'm just gonna got pulled out of something for a second, but I'm yeah getting right back into it so I can give Corey a decent bio fees because he definitely deserves it. Corey's a great guy, down to earth, and I'm really excited to see where his future goes from here. I mean, he's already had so many exciting things, but without the backlash. I'm hoping today that we're able to clear some of this air and that Corey can come, because in my community, he's welcome back. Like, and this is what it's going to take. We just need to keep welcoming him back into the community. And if people don't like it, then they can go somewhere else. That's the way I look at it anyway. So, so I'm gonna get right into it. I have his, let me see here, his bio, to read. So, and not to mention the documentary that he has coming up. So that's really pretty cool too. But yeah, let's get right into Corey Goode. And if you guys if you don't know Corey, you're got to meet him tonight. And if you have questions in chat, please put all those questions into caps, and we will get to them. I usually go through, I'll star them, I'll do whatever for that, and then we are just getting there again. Yeah. When you just accidentally bump a button, well, that's what happened. I accidentally bumped a button and now it's making me, pay for it. So we're going to go through and I'm going to give you a bio on Corey and about what he's all going on and all of that stuff. But it is frozen. You know what? So I'm going to bring Corey on and I'm going to apologize to Corey because I'm usually the one reading the bios and doing all this. So once I get you on here, I'm sure this will pop up and then I can go, if you just want to introduce yourself and then I will give you a proper bio. So without further ado, let's get Mr. Corey Goode up on stage.
Mhm.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh, I can't see you either. So yes,
You
yeah.
can't see me?
No, can you see yourself or me?
Yeah, I can see myself and I can see you.
So weird. Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, it's definitely okay. But I was so confused before. I'm like, I don't see anybody. But it's probably, it's just kind of like one of those days, one of those days. But yeah, I'm so excited to have you on and, to get going on some of this stuff. And like I said, I'm really, I had a nice little bio and thing I had put together for you. And I'm getting to it right now. But of course, I
That's okay.
kind of got locked out. So I didn't know if you just kind of want to briefly give them while I get this taken care of on my end, give them, a little bit about you, who you are, what you do.
Sure. I originally came out in 2015 on Gaia TV on a show with David Wilcock called Cosmic Disclosure. The show went extremely viral. Millions and millions of people saw it. It kind of took on a life of its own. The information developed a cult following, which people tried to turn and try to say, since it was a cult following, it was a cult, and it was just all this crazy hyperbole. But the show did very well, and eventually David and I had a lot of problems with the producer, Jay Widener, and a couple of others in the company, and things went really south. And then I think we were famous for the battle with Gaia TV, and of course, all of the trolls and sociopaths that kind of come together in the Twitterverse and other places came together and smelled blood, and we're being fed information. We have a lot of evidence that have come forward that we'll talk about later tonight. But since then, I've helped write, direct, and produce a couple of documentaries. The Above Majestic and The Cosmic Secret. And then most recently, we finally completed our documentary, the Beyond Disclosure, the Corey Goode Files, and that is supposed to come out in the next 2 weeks. It's been going through Apple QC, and we've never done a film with this many special effects, and so we've had to re-edit it a few times, and we think at the end of this week, since this week we haven't heard of any errors, it's going to come out in the next week. And then in November, we have an event in Loveland, Colorado that I hope everyone comes to. That we're going to start shooting our new television show called Contacted. And that's going to be, it turns out it's going to be a 4-episode series. And then today we just had a meeting with a major production company in New York, and we're going to, with some pretty big stars, we're going to start shooting a show called Haunted Renovation, or we're going to finish developing it and then shoot it. So I've found myself in the paranormal entertainment world as a producer and writer, and that seems to be where I'm finding a lot of my success right now. There are a lot of other things that I'm working on, but it's just things are just blowing up in the unscripted world right now.
That's pretty amazing. That really is amazing that you're going through. And production work, is that kind of your thing? Do you think you like to be behind the scenes more than in front of them?
I'm angling myself to be behind the camera more and more. I'm kind of an introvert, so I've never really been comfortable in front of the camera. People that watch me on Cosmic Disclosure pick that up immediately. I don't really like attention. So I've come up with several television shows that people are getting behind, including one where we're going to have a retired NATO general who's a friend of mine, and I've got several friends that are former Navy SEALs. One of them's writing a script for us for a film, but they're going to use their skills and special equipment to hunt down Bigfoot. Operation Bigfoot is the project. So we have some fun projects, and people are going to start seeing a lot of really high-end military people working with me on several of them.
That's exciting. That's exciting. And I guess too, before we go any further in all of the brilliant work and the work that you have coming up here, I really want it has I guess really weighed on me and ate me up a bit. So I can't imagine how it's done with you. But Twitter, if you guys are the ones out there, and I was in groups, I know who the individuals were that were perpetuating this type of negative stuff towards Corey. And I remember when it happened about, like he had said before, no, and two, I was just watching something on him. I'm like, he's got a family that is so Christian, a wife, his grandfather, I mean, like he's in and out, like there's so much to this. But people were calling him the cult leader. He was the cult leader. He was the head of the blue chicken cult. I mean, it was out of hand, and it kept going and going from there. But that one was huge. And they'd be like, look at him, and just the stuff nonstop going through. But if you go through and you understand Corey and maybe a little bit about his background, you'll know that's furthest thing from him than anything. It really is. And some of that stuff. Corey, what did you think when you heard you were a cult leader?
Yeah, it's always been very weird to me, but at the same time, when I would go to the conferences and I would see the way some of the people would behave towards me, it was a little over the top. People would come up with the whole namaste thing with sparkling eyes, looking all pious and just looking at you like you're the second coming. That made me very uncomfortable. I guess other people observed it and thought maybe I was encouraging it, but everything I said, everything that came out of my mouth was, not to look at me as any type of leader, that I was going, the transformation that everyone saw me go through. I was like 280 pounds almost, when I first started shooting Cosmic Disclosure, and I could barely speak. And I went through this whole transformation. I dealt with a lot of trauma and had a lot of healing. And as I was doing it, I was doing courses, trying to help bring people through the process with me. I wasn't behaving as a guru or some sort of spiritual cult leader. It was pretty ridiculous, but this community's all about hyperbole. And then, of course, when things went south with Gaia, we found out recently in Discovery that they allegedly spent about $300,000 on a PR firm that everyone in Hollywood knows is a hit firm. They destroy people's reputations. We were hearing, because I guess the guy who replaced me on Cosmic Disclosure at the time, he was having an extramarital affair, allegedly, with one of the major executives at Gaia. Some of their pillow talk was what Gaia was allegedly doing to destroy me and David Wilcock. And we were hearing about attacks, hit articles, weeks or months before they occurred. And because this person was calling David, and David, was letting me know. Right. This person was warning him, hey, you've got an article coming out, and the next 6 weeks, like clockwork, it pops out. It was a hit piece. Yeah. But we didn't know who was orchestrating it. Now we kind of know who the PR firm is, and we're going to be exposing a lot of that. $300,000. So
good for you.
That, we had CIFA, the Counterintelligence Foreign Adversaries Group, with the DoD, Air Force, people on it like Lou Elizondo, Richard Doty. Richard Doty, of course, was a big disinformation agent who was so effective, he ended up having one of his targets commit suicide over it. And it seems like everyone's forgotten that. Now he's doing shows and he's out as this big kind of whistleblower kind of guy that's turned over a new leaf. And the people that have been responsible for defaming and destroying contactees and experiencers are now, in a lot of cases, the same people who are standing in front of cameras talking about whistleblowers and disclosure. It's freaking crazy.
It's insane. It's insane at its finest. I just can't wrap my mind around that. It's like,
well, cyber investigators and other people have been following this for over 5 years now. And we're going to be doing a reality TV / true crime television show that's going to talk about the entire disclosure movement, how it's controlled, who's infiltrated it. A big part of the control system of the disclosure movement is, believe it or not, coming from Luciferians and satanic groups. And I mean, if you go to the Joy of Satan website, look it up, you will see all the Galactic Federation information there. It's all been fed in and become people's truths. People listen to it and it becomes their truth. And the Satanists are doing the same thing. I worked in the banking industry for a lot of years, and I worked at a pharmaceutical company. I worked alongside Luciferians and different people. They knew I was a Christian, and I knew that they were basically the opposite. But we always got along. They would tell me some about their beliefs. I would tell them some about mine. And I never, I don't disparage people for their beliefs. But my problem is when they're covertly coming in like an Ancient Aliens and different programs, allegedly on Gaia and other places, that are disguising the Luciferian and Satanism and other things as something else, something love and light, and injecting it into the community. And they're helping this non-human intelligence. There's a negative non-human intelligence that's trying to create a new religion right now, a new esoteric religion. And Diana Pasulka and a bunch of other people are studying it in real time. And my family, they wanted to study my family, like they're doing Chris Bledsoe. I talked to James Gilliland. They approached him too. They, want to do brain scans and install certain equipment in your home and interview your children away from you. That kind of crazy stuff. And we said no.
Good for you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've learned of about a dozen other families that are being studied like Chris Bledsoe, but they signed non-disclosure agreements. They can't go public and talk about it, but they're having all the same stuff, happen. So it's a big study, and the government wants to control the narrative. So they attack experiencers and try to destroy them. And then we have corporations that have their own alleged agendas that are coming in and controlling radio shows, controlling events, large conferences, who gets to be
Operation Mockingbird, right?
Yes, it's but we're gonna really expose quite a bit about what the disclosure movement and esoteric movement really is and what it's controlled by and who it's controlled by.
So with that being said, I was approached by somebody. I could maybe put him in contact. He's outside of this community. He doesn't even want to come into this community. But he did like things like unsolved mysteries and things like that, because he said that people within it have destroyed it. So, and he wants a book to be written, and it's called Seeking Truth. And that's exactly where everybody's going to. And I give you so much props, but you got to stay. You really do. You got to stay careful on this one, or be safe, because they're not playing. These people don't play. I loved what you said earlier behind the scenes. That you're like, I was talking to Dave Wilcox, and he said, you needed to go public. like
Yeah.
that was your saving grace by doing so. Definitely.
Yeah, it's quite being in this movement as a public figure, and then learning in the background how all the majority of the people you've seen on Ancient Aliens, the majority of people you see on stage and have their own shows right now. I've had drinks with these people at conferences when I was one of them, and majority of them are straight up Luciferians.
Yep.
And it's just not something that they openly will admit. And why?
So true. So true.
Why?
Why you know what? I don't know. Like it's like why won't they admit it? You wonder what the heck, because so many of them on Facebook that I've been even coming across. One lady's like, "Oh my gosh, we're not doing anything bad, like they're whatever," and it's like, we're law-abiding citizens. She even said, and I was like, "Oh, this might be part of the problem, lady." It's like you can't
Mhm.
even like it. They throw it right out in your face. I mean, they're really not hiding it. You can say, but to think that that was even or is even available to children, and like now they're like going to these schools, and like we're having Sunday school, like what is going on here?
No, it's been a giant operation, and no one's been immune from it. To be honest, the people in the alliance that I speak to, they are quite shocked that we survived this takedown attempt. They've never seen in the history of ufology, they've never seen anything as coordinated and had as much money fed into it and fuel poured into it ever in the history of ufology. And the fact that my wife and I are so stubborn that we never give up, we never surrender. We're weird personality types too, to where I really don't give a flip what people think of me. People say, no, some people think you're full of crap. I'm just like, opinions are like rear ends. Everybody has one and they all stink.
Right. You know what though? Isn't that such a freeing experience when when you stop thinking or worrying about what the rest of the world thinks of you? I mean, I still have my moments
Yeah.
from time to time, but that right there was the most freeing experience of my entire existence. I mean, when you can take a step back and you're good being you, doing you, it's like that's amazing all in itself. Because it wasn't easy for you, like with all of this. And I guess if
No.
we can kind of go just a little bit, I know James isn't here, but like kind of into the history of it. Do you like your wife? Was she having, did she have mediumship like, qualities about her? Did she have that ability? And then your children, I guess, if you're I have a child, he's able to manipulate time a little different. Like
Hmm.
that's his kind of thing. So I know,
Yeah.
they're all kind of you get the gifts that are a part of it. It's to me, it's always been a trade off. But those
Yeah.
gifts, like what were
As a
those
matter
like
of
for
fact,
you?
yeah, that's one of the things they wanted to study. The two universities that are doing the main study. It's strange that people that have this certain type of brain neurology end up together. And it's very few people that have it. And it's people that have this strange, thick neurological cords in this certain part of their brain that have abilities. They've proven it now. More and more is going to come out, but Gary Nolan and others have spoken about it. They wanted to do MRIs on my family. They wanted to have us interact with this non-human intelligence even more. We turned them down, but it's they wanted to study my kids. My son interacts with people who've passed on, and orbs will pop into the room, and he sees symbols, and they try to communicate with him. Um, Very intuitive. My daughter, same, very strong uh, abilities. We talk about it in the upcoming documentary. But yeah, we because of the abilities, especially that my kids have, and they were untrained and unable to really control them, so they were like attracting things into our home.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
people who had passed on and you know, were
Oh,
well.
yeah, that kind of,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And we had a lot of these Twitter people that are so frantically upset because we're not destroyed and who have been a part of it. They're all a part of this satanic stuff. They were like bragging about going to Reddit and hiring witches. They were against us. They were bragging about doing dark ceremonies against us. Our neighbor at the other house we were in, we had to move because there was so much paranormal activity and demonic activity in that
Oh
house. We
wow.
moved. We had to move out. It was horrible. But one of our neighbors saw someone come and get dirt out of our front yard with a little shovel and put it in a mason jar and leave, you know, for their ceremonies. So
Oh God,
it
they
was
don't stop.
bad.
Oh,
But now these things can't get into our house.
that's
It's,
good.
you know, it's amazing. We've had experiences. We see orbs flying around outside and other things. But it doesn't come in our home anymore. It's like our sanctuary now. So we're very happy that this nasty, whatever, non-human intelligence is out of our life and leaving us alone. I'm going to be doing television shows to help people understand what I've learned about it. My family wants to do so also. It's been a very terrifying experience, but uh, we know what we're dealing with now, you know, and
It's dark.
so
It's a very dark. I said whatever whatever is underlying it, it's like I feel like it hates humanity. It absolutely hates
it does.
humanity.
It feeds off of us, our misery and the negative emotions. At the same time, it's entertained. It's like a lion playing with its food before it eats it. It's
Mm,
entertained by all of these idiots on Twitter and
yeah.
that have no real intellect, or they just are
No,
feeding
I
off
know.
of the attacks. And
I know. I
we've
know.
known that most of these people are extreme have extreme personality disorders,
Yeah.
narcissism and sociopaths, and their outlet is the internet. You know, instead of terrorizing their children and their wife and their whoever else in their family, their outlet is sitting in front of the keyboard, you know. So the more when you
That's
start to
so true.
realize that
Yeah.
about these people, they lose their steam.
There are some mentally ill people in this community, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but it makes it hard. I was a mental health therapist for 7 years. It makes it damn hard to tell the difference between the two. So
Yes.
it's just like, you think, okay, we're going here with something, and then it's like, oh, like that's not, it really is. And I guess to think how everybody, it's like we haven't learned enough to stay in groups of people for very long periods of time. But when the time is like the most opportune time,
Mhm.
they will take that time and then they will slam you down to the ground. I had Teresa Tyndall was another one, and anybody who knows I will to this day. And not even that, some of the crazy stuff that she was coming off with, and then she was stealing my story and she was stealing
Yeah.
my stuff, and then they're trying to I was like, what are you doing?
Well,
I
that's
get
one of the things you
crazy.
mentioned. You know, honestly, there are about 40% of this community. They are nuttier than squirrel shit, and I say so
Yeah,
without meaning.
yeah.
They really are. The
Oh
sixty
yeah,
percent
for
of
real.
people that are well-meaning, they're part of the problem too because they're not policing the crazy people. They're just, oh, they're harmless. Let them steal your stuff. Who's it hurting? You know, come on, Corey. You know, these are positive stories. You know, I want to hear stories, and you know, I had to go through it. The content theft and people stealing your story got so bad. I had to go
Oh,
through extreme measures and sit through court and depositions and all of that. And you know, people think that I'm going to go in front of a jury and tell them that I speak with 8 foot tall blue bird beings, and please let me win the lawsuit. I mean, come on, people, you know, use your brains. I have to do what I have to do to protect what's mine.
yeah.
And it's obvious that the community is not going to be behind me in protecting my information,
No,
or at least the
no, no,
majority of it.
no. Right.
So screw it. if the community's not going to be behind me and help me protect what is mine, I've got to do what I have to do
Yeah.
to protect, the disclosures I've put out. It's turned into a big joke with
Yeah.
all of these different people, super soldier people coming out that said, I cut off the head of a reptilian, and you look at them and they couldn't even swat a fly,
I
and,
know. Oh yeah,
and
I
it's just
know.
like,
Or they're on these huge missions and they live down in their parents' basement and they never have
yes.
moved out. It's like, come on.
Oh, and we've looked into a lot of these people, and a lot of these people have like mental health issues that have led to serious criminal issues in
Oh,
some
I bet.
cases. And people don't realize they're going to these super soldier conferences, and bad things are happening to women because they're like taking advantage of the LARPing situation. A woman,
Yep.
some of these girls, they'll say, well, I was a sex slave on series. And then the guy will come in and say, well, I served on series and you owe me sex. And then the women are like, oh crap, they called me on it. What do I do? And the next thing you know, they're in a bad situation. We've
Right.
heard a lot of stories, and then these gurus out in the community that are sexually taking advantage of women and men
Oh
and
yeah.
financially taking advantage of people. I'm talking like, there's certain women that we heard about here in Boulder that were like buying certain people vehicles and giving them tens of thousands of dollars at a time, and and then they ended up getting taken advantage of. It is this community, there's a lot of beautiful things about this community, but there's a lot of danger. And I've seen, there
There
was
is.
a young lady, one of the most impressive young ladies that I've seen. She came in, she got wrapped up with a guru for a few years. He put her through all kinds of horrible stuff, and she's been a mess ever since. She had such a beautiful future ahead of her, and I tell the guy, what you did to this girl?
Mm-hmm.
Well, her subconscious wanted her to have this experience so she could go through the pain and have the growth, and I'm just like,
Oh.
and this is just kind of crap that I run into.
Dude,
And I
yeah, I know. I just want to be like, for real. Are you
Yeah,
for real?
so
It's like, come on.
protect yourself. A lot of people think that discernment is like, oh, how does that feel? Oh, that feels kind of good, I've discerned it. That's not discernment. That is not even
Right.
remotely close to discernment. You have to use your brain. And you're going to have to start using your brain, or you're going to find yourself in this cycle of being taken advantage of or set up by guru after guru. And and on top of that, that's just the people factor. On top of that, we have a non-human intelligence that's interacting with people, trying to create a new religion and trying to influence people. I had a problem with some of that contacting me, and I lost all confidence and trust in it, and I've been out of contact and purposefully, and have just been in contact with the um, Alliance. And after I was out of contact with them for 4 years because things got really bad, but they have, they've told me that, yeah, you kind of figured out what we already know about this non-human intelligence. And that's just one aspect. There's a whole bunch of different positive things we're dealing with, but the negative is a trickster, and it comes in and it mimics the positive and the love and light, and it
Mm,
confuses the hell out of everyone.
that's interesting. I've always heard that, especially as a medium. Before we get too far, and forget to ask you, can you go back to when you were talking about the MRIs, and do you think that
Mhm.
has anything to do with, I guess, I know I've heard from a few different people, it may be something to do with memories and memory recall, or it might be, I have a little bit of a different sinister look on it, but I was
Yeah.
curious.
I had a long talk with these people when they were trying to talk me into it. There's two different MRIs they want to do. One of them, is it an active MRI or something, where they're putting some sort of isotope through your veins and
Mm-hmm.
actively doing an MRI while asking you questions. And they can see which part of your brain is lighting up, and they can tell if you're speaking from memory or if you're making shit up, if you're lying or telling the truth. And it's more effective than anything else, so they were going to do that, and then they were going to do some other type of MRI with another type of some
So now it's going to be a lie detector test? on top of
Well,
it?
it's not really a lie detector test. They were going to see, because some people are just freaking delusional. They really believe, and they can tell by when they ask you questions and you're recalling the information
Mm-hmm.
where it's coming from in the brain.
Oh yeah.
And they're also able to use that similar type of scan to do things like have you remote view or do things where you're going into the flow state and you're accessing that realm. Then what they're doing is they're measuring what parts of your brains are active. And they've been doing this for quite some time. And I'm trying to remember the name of the part of the brain that they focused in on, that people who have abilities have a thicker band of neurons. And it seems to be like an antenna that's picking up this other realm.
I wonder where
That,
it's. I have something strange by my brainstem area. They never have been. Mayo Clinic doesn't know. John Hopkins doesn't know what it is. It's just always been there. But Twitter the other day, somebody on Twitter got a hold of my brain scan and they wrote on there, and then they put it they posted it with they said I have a small reptilian inside my brain in the kidney part. I was like, ugh.
yeah. Well,
Twitter, you
people
gotta
were,
stop doing that stuff.
oh
Yeah.
man, everything. People were saying I was replaced by a shape shifting um, reptilian. One guy put out that I was replaced by a clone of myself.
I heard the clone one. I remember
Yeah,
hearing the clone one.
there was so many things, and and I thought it was so ridiculous when I was reading it and hearing people say it. I was just, oh, that's so ridiculous. But what caught me off guard was how many people were like, you
They
know what? I
believe
think
it.
he is a clone.
They believe it.
He is a clone. Holy crap, that's my truth. And then later on, people, oh no, he's not a clone. No, that's my truth. And everyone's opinion of me already has become their truth. And it's gonna, it's very difficult for a lot of people to let go of all the BS that, for 5 years when I was doing the lawsuit, and there were criminal investigations going on too, I had to not speak publicly. So all of the attackers and everyone, they got to set the narrative and they got to say everything they wanted. And I had to sit there like, and keep myself and keep quiet. But not anymore. So I'm telling all of
Good for you.
what,
Yeah, and saying so, can we go ahead and put some of that footage up there
sure.
from the trial? And she's like, this is
This is
absolutely
from the deposition. I sued Leon Isaac Kennedy. He was a famous guy back in the day in Hollywood. Roger Richards, who worked with me for a while, and Adrian Youngblood. They were embezzling money, doing mail fraud against fans, and they pulled a big extortion scheme against me and David Wilcock. They said that they were going to destroy our marriages and our lives publicly and feed information to the trolls if we didn't hand over our 2 documentaries that were worth about $1 million. So huge extortion issue. Thankfully, the end of the case, we settled and I received all my intellectual property. I got everything I wanted out of that case. But they were not happy about it, so they released the deposition, even though it was against court order.
okay. Yeah, just for some reason it just kicked off here. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that back up again. But yeah, that is insane that they're the whole thing. But when I and two, I wanted to give Sonia Galactic out there credit for going ahead and putting this together. She was one that did it and came across it first. She's like, you gotta listen to this. And when I did, I was like, did they? Well, I'm no spoilers, no spoilers. I'm gonna get this pulled up here in just a second here. And I don't know. It always seems like when you're going for one thing, but yeah, I definitely just had it. I don't know why I would have done that. And here we go. So yeah, I can't even imagine some of this stuff. And yeah, this should be good right now. I'm just gonna go ahead.
It's going to be one hell of a TV show when we talk about all this.
Oh gosh, you definitely. I can't. I mean, I know that it really, and I'm sure like all of the stuff on top of it, but once you get this, I mean, this was pretty like pretty profound here. So I'm going to add this. Okay, we're good there. And I'm going to go ahead and play it for you guys. And then we'll get the volume up for Corey. This is like a weird, I don't know why it's fighting me. Okay, don't have the right. This is where it's going. I'm just going to put this in. Hold on. Let's do it this way. Stop showing. I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. And I'm going to reshare my screen. Since
I need to run around the corner here real quick while you're
Oh,
playing.
yeah. Go ahead. Yep. Go ahead. Let's see. I can't believe I had it all and then I didn't have it all. But no, here we go. So if you guys are listening, Corey kind of gave you a little bit of an intro of what this was and what you were going to hear. So we're going to go ahead and just get right into it. If it doesn't continue to hate me here, I don't know why it's doing this. I will get it. All right. So let me see if StreamYard is. The problem is I can't see with what is going on and what is not going on the set. So I can't tell if it's being shared, if it's not. I'm just going to stop sharing it for just 1 second. And then I'm going to figure out, and then we're going to get James on here because James, yeah, he's oh good. Yeah, so we got this. And here we go. So we're going to do this again. All right. And I am sharing my screen again, and I promise this will be the last time I'll have it this time. Okay. Yep, we got it. All right.
Forces.
The cable?
Cabal.
Okay, I'm
The
just
cable and the dark forces.
The cable?
Cabal.
Yeah, the cabal.
Who is that?
In conspiracy theory land and in this community, it is the secret government that is controlling or hiding the existence of aliens and trying to take over the world.
Do you believe that my clients are trying to stop the existence of aliens?
I don't think your clients have the power to stop the existence of aliens.
So you know, the cable and the dark forces.
The cable?
Cabal.
Okay, that must be
Yeah, the cabal.
Who is that?
In conspiracy theory land and in this community, it is the secret government that is controlling or hiding the existence of aliens.
Yeah, I was like, when I heard that, the cabal, the cabal,
The guy
I'm like,
an idiot. You know,
how can you take that serious?
He was sanctioned by the judge for the way he behaved in this deposition. He had to pay us money, and he was very embarrassed. There was a news article put out about it. Yeah, he was getting upset because throughout the deposition, he was realizing that his clients had been lying to him, and it made him look like an idiot.
Well, yeah. Is it possible? That's what I want to say. Is it possible that he looked any more like an idiot after that? When I heard the cable, I thought there's no way he just said that. He just said that. Too, and I guess before we bring James out and kind of get into stuff, is there any other, I know that you went through a whole lot on Twitter, and I really think, like, is there any other area you think that you'd like to hit the nail on the head and let people know and clear this air?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, one, Laura Eisenhower was about 3 weeks ago She was deposed. There's a recording very similar to this. And Gaia's attorneys questioned her about the release of David Wilcock's resignation letter. And she, thank God, told the truth and had a good memory. And, I and David, neither one had anything to do with the release of that letter. It destroyed both of our lives. We were not happy that it was released. We know who released it. It was Roger Richards and Leon Isaac Kennedy. We know, and they did it at the same time that they were planning their extortion of David and I. So, unfortunately, Gaia should have gone after them, but it's been support that. And
your grandfather, wasn't he a minister?
Minister,
Didn't kind of
yeah.
fall in his
And my wife, her
footsteps?
grandfather was a minister. So we
Oh,
come
wow,
from
yeah.
that kind of background. And I was being told that I was in contact with Lucifer. It was very shocking. And I guess I probably should have handled it right. I didn't realize that was such a strong belief system for him, allegedly. But I come to find out, Dan Winter, there was a lawsuit in 1995. And of course, through all of it, Yurka Rai-Savi comes up, channeling Satan, channeling Lucifer comes up. A whole, fight broke out amongst all the people who were doing this channeling, and a lawsuit occurred. And a part of depositions, this was all a finding of fact. And if I had known that he had a background all the way to 95 of channeling allegedly Lucifer and Satan and all of that, I definitely would have handled the conversation differently. But that's where things just kind of went south. And Jay Widener was already being a problem. The way he treated David Wilcock was shocking, because David would put up with it. He tried it with me a couple of times, and he saw that I probably would have put him on his ass if he, kept squaring off and acting like the bully that he was. So he was horrible, and every time we would try to get him fired, the president at the time would say, he knows where all the bodies are buried. He has been best friends with Yurka for decades. There's no way he's getting fired. So, we just basically had to deal with it. We finally got him replaced by Melissa Tittle, who did a good job. David Wilcock and her didn't get along. He didn't like her very well, but she was very professional. She seemed like a nice lady, and she did a good job. It was just too much had happened at the company, and so then they wanted me to start bringing on all these LARPs, like the Jason Rice, who basically mimicked my information exactly.
No,
And then
boy.
me to interview these people, and I said no. And so all of that culminated, and then they fired me.
Yeah,
And
let's try and point them into another
Right.
direction. I mean, this is all they do is listen to and then jot notes down. It's insanity.
Yeah.
It
And the
really
crazy thing
is.
is, at the conference, when I was doing the conferences, I would see all of these people that came out later with their 20 and back stories or secret space program stories, and they would be sitting there with a notebook writing down everything that I was saying.
Yeah,
And
right.
then I
Yeah.
would see them within a week on their YouTube channel. Oh, and then using all my keywords about different programs and all of that. It was just bizarre. I
It's
didn't realize
infuriating when you, especially if
it
it's
is.
a non, like, yeah, obviously it's a non-experience, or if they're doing something like that, or if it's just like maybe an I don't know. I always tell people your stories are good enough, because past that, you're putting us all and throwing us all into waters that are uncharted, and we need to know at this point in time, like, I'm sure you do too. You have to strategically get in and out of places. It's not quite as easy as what you think it is after stuff like this happens.
Yeah, extractions never go how you think they will. They're,
Definitely not.
with the people I worked with that we ended up suing that were on my team, I worked with them for like 3 years. It took me 6 years to get rid of them.
Right.
They're like, no, we deserve this, we deserve that, it's because of us that you became famous, and it was just like this whole narcissistic broken child symphony, and there's just a lot of that in the community, and you have to be very careful who you engage with. It takes several months to really pick up on the
Yes.
people that are broken, as opposed to the real genuine loving people that are in this community, which there
Oh,
are.
yes. I know. And then I know Eric, and I won't give away his last name, but if anybody knows, they know. But it's just the thing is you can't be jumping over from Twitter to Facebook and in different groups. And I've handed this individual like 3 different people, 3 different names, but the worst terror was when it started coming out. Then with the Laura Eisenhower, that she wasn't who she said she was, and Laura instantly, Laura, she's like, I'll be right back. And she's like, I got my birth certificate. You give them that, and you call. And she's like, and if you need, I said, no, I'm just telling you what somebody said. She's like, call my mom, and my mom will verify for me. And she's so gone. And I'm like, that's why I love you, Laura. That's why, because people with that you have evidence, you shouldn't have that much of a problem coughing it up. Like if somebody asked you for evidence, or if I've seen a UFO evidence, I'd be like, where's my phone? You just hold on right 1 minute there.
Right.
It's just like, there's no problem there at all.
Yes.
Definitely not. But yeah, and I know. So I guess in Twitter, is there any other topics before we bring James on that you can think of you'd like to clear the air? And if they have more, I mean, we can always come back and address some of this. They're being awfully quiet. And Twitter, that all you have to do is you jump into that screen, you hit the enter, you're right there in the stream, and we get all the comments over here. Either that or hop over to YouTube at SNX Radio. We're streaming live from here. So we'd love to get this all taken care of and move on and, call it a day
Yeah.
from here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I say to the Twitterverse, the deposition of Laura Eisenhower did not go the way Gaia wanted. You should have seen the look on the attorneys' faces when it was over. I think they realized they were lied to. The depositions that they plan in the future where I was supposedly doxing people and attacking people when it was me that it was happening to, those depositions are going to go the same. You're going to walk away with jack shit other than information that helps me. And I was one of the first SEC whistleblowers, and Gaia had a big problem with the SEC. I think they know that, and that's why they want to make an example of me. I plan on contacting the SEC again and discussing certain things. If you're a shareholder and you're a part of the class action lawsuit, Gaia has had like 5 lawsuits since mine. So they've had a lot of lawsuits. Most of them have settled. But if you're a part of the one that's still open, you're a shareholder, please contact your attorneys, have them contact me. I will be a smiling person giving testimony about how they allegedly weaponized the company against me, all the things that were done. I will tie the SEC lawsuit and investigation to my lawsuit, and I will tie your lawsuit. I will show how they are all connected, and I'll connect all the dots for you. So contact the class action attorneys and have them contact my attorney.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic.
Yeah. The best way to handle all of this is to have all of the truth come out. It's going to come out. We're going to be appealing certain things with information we have, the defamation case against Gaia for things that were allegedly done against me and other people. There's a few other things too that we're going to appeal. So I guess a lot of people know that I recently closed my business, Good Enterprise Solutions, and we declared bankruptcy to financially and corporately reorganize to put me in a stronger place to be able to deal with Gaia and to also put out a number of projects that I'm doing under a clean slate. And everything's taking off for us right now. We have multiple projects going on. We have a book. Everything is picking up for us. We're being rewarded by God, by the universe, whatever you want to see it as, for being completely tenacious and not giving up. So we think that the best revenge is going to be living well and watching how all of these idiots respond. Because right now, the way we have it set up with the networks, they're looking forward to us doing this true crime show. So all of these people, as they go out and attack us now, are helping us sell it. It's beautiful.
They don't realize they're probably one of those.
Even if they do realize it, they can't help themselves. They're mental, so they're going to just.
They are too. Yeah, they really are.
Some of them went out and they celebrated about our bankruptcy, not realizing that what a pivot and a shift this is in our favor moving forward. So it's going to.
So they're out celebrating. And now you look. You have to right there ask yourself, what kind of person goes out and celebrates somebody else's like financial hardship, or times. I'm sure they were. That right there, I mean, is a sick individual. People who do that, that is such a sickness. And it's like, man, what are you doing? It's crazy. It's crazy for anybody to even go along with it. It's so crazy.
They know they're sick.
Oh, I know.
And the whole world's going to know, because I'm going to make a lot of these people very famous.
Oh, good. Because the world is not their hospitals, and the world is not their mental hospitals, is the way I say it. Like, the world is not your hospital. You can't be going around and doing all this stuff. People who are sick, stay home. I don't care if you're sick in the head or sick, at this point, like the ones that are sick in the head, you are causing more problems than the other ones. So you can sit at home too. It's just the way it is. Like, I don't have time for stuff like that. I don't. We've been doing this for too long and too many accommodations to go back now.
Yeah. Well, as far as I'm concerned, guys, keep helping me sell my show, because there's a lot of people very interested in it. And the more nuttier than squirrel shit stuff that y'all do, some of the old footage that we have archived from the attacks and stuff, it's just over the top, unbelievable. Producers, they laugh, then they're like, oh my God, how did you get through that? And there's like, they say that this is going to be totally viral, because it's going to attract not just people from the paranormal communities, but it's going to bring in all sorts of people that are going to want to come and see the crazy circus that we live through.
Right. Oh, that's so true. I said they should all show up in a clown car. That's the way they roll. It is like, it is crazy. And when you go through something like that, and you need, for me, like, I can tell you about the time Jeremy Corbell did it, and he like brought every single person known to man that I even knew, and I'm like, man, they're just gonna keep coming, just keep coming. Like, I felt like I had to hide out for like 3 days. If I hid very far, I felt like they could find me in some way, shape, or form. So I'm just gonna keep on. But it is crazy, though. It's so crazy.
I'll tell you, one of the only people that has stood up and had the fortitude to last through all this is James Gilliland. And he, Jay Widener, I like avoided Gilliland for probably 3 years because of all the stuff Widener had told me. He was the reason that Laura Eisenhower was never on Gaia. It was all Jay Widener, and same with Jay. I'm sorry, Gilliland. But I wasn't even going to give Gilliland a chance, because I'd heard so many things from while I worked at Gaia, and then I met him and spent time with him, and everyone else at the drop of a hat has been willing to turn their back on me or stab me in the back. He has shown more integrity, more emotional intelligence and honor than anyone else I've known in this community. And he's shown a lot of fortitude also. So I have a lot of respect for him. He's got a lot to say too about all of this. He's been put to the same thing. His good friend Peter Slattery has gone through hell. all of us have our story, and I want to give all of them a chance too to tell what they've been through, and really kind of show a side of this movement that no one's ever seen before, and what we really go through. Everyone judges us so quickly, but they
Right.
don't see the pain and horror, death threats and
Hmm.
stalking and people, showing up at your house, weird shit. They don't
Right.
understand
They don't
what we go.
understand that. They don't understand that. I guess without further ado, let's bring James Gilliland on from ECETI Ranch, ECETI.org. And I still can't see you if you're on, James. I hope you
Yeah,
I'm on.
are. You're on
yeah.
stage?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, great.
Definitely.
Great.
It's just me. For some reason, I just can't see anybody
Okay.
else on there. So, yeah. Let me know if anything happens out there. So
Yeah.
James, welcome. We were talking before, I'm sure you heard backstage. We are kind of addressing those Twitter concerns and some of the
Yeah.
Twitter that Corey's been under, I mean, I feel bad. I said
Yeah.
there pitchforks and torches is, would be my way to go, because some of them are just so brutal.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'd gone through all that, and so when I heard what they're doing to Corey, I go, this is the same thing. This is the same nonsense, and so I go, and everybody was same thing. They're all creating all this demonic images and everything, and I go, well, it sounds to me like he's doing the same thing I'm doing, so I want to meet the guy. And oh man, and then I invited him to a conference to speak at a conference, and all hell broke loose after that. And I had so many threats, we're going to destroy your career, we're going to do this, we're going to do that if you do this and everything. And I just said, that is the worst approach you can ever make with me, like threatening and everything else, because they go, you're not going to be famous. And I said, I don't care, and, I want my privacy. I'm out in nature most of the time. I have a coffee farm. I'm out picking coffee most of the time and working on the ranch. And I go, I want to hear a story. And I listened to his story a few times. And what's funny is that I know people that are, let's say, I can't mention their names, but they are, they were like the lead scientist at Area 51 and things like that. And, and they're telling me all these things before I heard from Corey about, what was happening. We have our own secret space fleet, and we have all this and that, and, who they're working with, which weren't really the good guys. And, I heard all these things from really high level people that were in the know. And then I heard Corey's story, and I said, well, a lot of it I've already heard, and from very reputable people. And and then when I met Corey, I just realized right away he was very, very sincere, very high integrity, and I saw that they were using a lot of the same tactics with me. I mean, I've heard everything. I've heard everything from I'm gay to I'm a womanizer to I run a Russian bestiality ring.
Oh Lord. Oh man.
I have kids with some woman that was raised in a test tube. And I've had all these affairs with people I don't even know, and we have kids in other dimensions. And I mean, I heard it all, and I go, I'm just sitting here. I don't know what is this all about, And I've had a couple relationships that didn't work out, and it wasn't, I'm not going to do the blame game or anything. It was just that some of the stipulations were that I had to end my career basically, and
Oh yeah.
my sole purpose, throw in the trash and go live with somebody in some God forbidden place, And I said, no, I'm not going to do this. You knew who I was when you met me, and this is what I do, and I have my own sole purpose, and I'm going to follow through with that. If you want to join me, great, but
So you had that dangled in front of your head too. I did too with the next. He's like, you
yeah.
need to stop the podcasting. You need to stop this. Then we can resume normal living. And I was like, for real? Like,
Well, in all the threats, if
no.
they can't character assassinate you, they actually physically try to assassinate you. And I've had those experiences as well. but there's always been some divine intervention that's kind of stopped that from happening, which is great. And then for just inviting Corey, I met all the same people Corey's talking about, and they tried a lot of stuff with me. They go, we're going to turn ECETI into a Disneyland, and we're going to make all millions of dollars, and you're going to be rich and everything else. And the first thing I asked, well, who controls the money? And they go, we do. And I said,
well, who the hell is still going to Disneyland?
Yeah.
Right.
And I said, do you not understand? This ECETI is an intensely spiritual place. We have masters appearing there. We have beautiful photographs of Kuan Yin and Mary and Babaji and other masters and beings that look like Spock that are 6-dimensional beings. All this stuff happening there, along with the UFO contact. And I was on a real spiritual journey. UFOs came with the program, but I wasn't really on the UFO circuit. And then the International UFO Congress got a hold of me, and they read my books, and they said, we really want you to come and speak, and I go, well, I do know a lot about UFOs, but that's not my focus. My focus is more on self-mastery and learning how to heal unseen negative influences and protect yourself and discernment and how to work with the higher dimensions and things. That was my focus. And so they go, no, we really want you to come. And so the first talk I gave there was about the Pleiadians and my contacts with them. And the whole audience in the room, the women were crying, that it was the energy was so, you could cut it with a knife. It was so thick. And it was just amazing. I had to stop because there was so much energy, so much love flowing through me from them that I was getting choked up. And I just said, they love you so much. You have no idea how much you're loved in the multiverse and how much these people care about you and everything else. And then I found out that I did the ultimate no-no. I spoke about the spiritually and technologically advanced ones, which is taboo. And so I didn't realize that was going to create such a problem. So, I was blackballed there, and then they invited me to come again, and I came again, and same thing happened. I was blackballed again, and when I spoke at the one in Arizona, they took down my whole lecture. And when
it's actually bigger than what James has told. He's being blackballed from these events, but I have been trying to get a awesome television show around ECETI Ranch going, and speaking to different production companies and producers in the paranormal world. That well's been poisoned as well. There have been a lot of rumors and BS put out about him there. So it's been a huge effort to discredit James and his work and to prevent him. The stuff going on his ranch, he should be featured on television shows way before me and these other people. But why isn't he? Why? There's like this. I thought it was silly to kind of say, he was being blackballed on that high of a level, but I experienced it. He actually is.
He definitely is being blackballed at that level. And you would wonder why people would think you're crazy just to say that. And I'm like, you know why? They don't want the real people. They don't want the real legit people. They've got one of each of all of us, I think, up there at some point. It's just like.
See, I was real naive. I was real naive when I went in there, and I go, we have the video, we have the photographs, we have the eyewitnesses, we have triple PhD Boeing engineers, we have Lockheed Skunk Works engineers, we have Air Force base commanders, air traffic controllers, all testifying, and they all testified on the Art Bell show, and Art was blown away. And I said, Art, you have to come see this for yourself, and then nobody can take it away from you. And we had Danny Dyer came out and did a special on it, and he was blown away. He goes, I'm on UFO overload. He traveled all over the world, didn't see anything, and he came to ECETI, and he just said, nobody can take this away from me. I saw it with my own eyes. I experienced it myself. And it's not just seeing the ships, it's the contact that comes with the ships. But the same thing, like Ancient Aliens came out, and I told them who's on the ships, their cultures, their, even talked about their technologies and how they have phenomenal healing technologies, and they could regrow limbs with all of our veterans and get the kids out of the cancer wards and things like that. And I gave them all the information about the different groups, what they look like, what their culture's like, and they canned all of it. And all you see is my hand reaching for a camera. And then they covered John Vivanco and Peter Slattery that were there, but they didn't even do them justice, because we all told them exactly when the ships would appear and where, and they just ignored they missed everything. And it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And so now they're trying to get me back, and all these guys are trying to get me back on their shows. And I said, no, you missed a golden opportunity. And, I know what your agendas are, and I'm done. It's like, and they go, well, you're going to be rich, you're going to be famous. And I said, I don't care. That to me, impeccable integrity is first and foremost. And also, just, you got to have some kind of moral compass and work from there. And after getting involved in the UFO community, I was just shocked at people on the highest level and what they did off stage and off the podium. And they were actually,
So
in the
sick,
back
yeah.
of the CIA, and a lot of pedophilia, a lot of crazy stuff going on there. And I was just shocked. And I just said, I can't go to these conferences anymore, because it's a reptilian F fest. I hate to say it, but I've got to do so much clearing and so much healing, and to keep the energies clear there. And there's so much backstabbing and competition, things that shouldn't be in the UFO community. I was kind of naive. I go, I have everything. If they really want disclosure, they want contact, we have everything. We have the videos, the witnesses, the ships in every size, shape, and color. We have the black helicopters harassing us, the everything. We have it all on video. And I've shown it at these conferences, and then I was asked never to come back again, So, at the International UFO Congress, I mean, you tried to get the video and you couldn't get it. It's been totally blackballed. And on stage, I actually turned into a light beam while I was on stage. And then I had like 10-foot light beams behind me. And the audience got photographs on their phones of it. And I didn't, it wasn't in the video, but it was kind of weird that, by the time I got the video, and I don't know where my original video came, but if anybody has my last talk in Arizona at the International UFO Congress, if you have a DVD of that, please send it to us, because I'd like to get a copy of that. But it's just amazing how I couldn't believe how much I was erased and blackballed and slandered and character assassinated and everything. It was all because I talked about the spiritual and technologically advanced off-worlders. And in 1945, they made a contract with the dark ones, the darker ones, the Gray Alliance, and because they were given weaponry and they were given all kinds of technology, and the deal was the Pleiadians and the Nordics came and they said, look, we'll give you free energy, fearless energy, anti-gravity, counter-gravity, med beds, everything in 1945. And they chose to go with the negative ones because there's no stipulations, because the stipulation was you have to get rid of your nukes. You have to end this warfare that they said it affects all of us. And if you nuke your planet, that's going to reverberate throughout the whole universe. And we have to feel that because we're telepathic and really sensitive. And we don't want, that's going to create a huge distortion in the unified field. And they're saying, don't go there. And unfortunately, MJ12 and the leadership at the time went with the grays, they went with the negative ones. But imagine if we went with the positive ones. It's in 1945, where we would have taken a quantum leap in consciousness and technology. We'd be operating on a universal law, which is basically universal peace and brother, sister love, and individual freedom and prosperity for all. That's their foundation throughout the universe. And that's where we would have been this phenomenal society. It would have been beyond the Jetsons if they would have gone with that. But there are elements out there that are controlling the narrative, and it's a very dark network, and a lot of it's Luciferian, satanic Luciferian, and there are reptilians, there's serpent beings, there's negative grays, there's all this stuff involved in that. And I had to deal with not just the slander and everything else. I was having black magic and witchcraft and everything aimed at me. It was just insane. But luckily, I was trained how to deal with that. I have extensive training, like 40 years experience dealing, working with lamas and yogis and masters. And I went through the TIC, the Teachings of the Inner Christ. I went through their program, and I learned how to heal these unseen, negative influences and shield myself. And I was helping so many other people in the UFO community to get disconnected from that, because either willingly or in ignorance, somehow they got connected into this network, and it created a real mess. But that's all going to collapse. They're not frequency specific to the ascension process and the planetary liberation that's going on, and what is coming and on its way here, and it's already here. Nobody can stop what's coming. It's multidimensional. They have technology, and I mean I tell people, how do they communicate? And I said, thoughts instantaneous. The higher ones are all telepathic. They doesn't matter where they are, you can connect with them and have a conversation with them, which I do on a regular basis. And and they've been so late. They've been so gloves off. We have to honor free will, and they've been doing that for so long. But now the gloves are off, and they brought in the Palladian warrior, the warrior classes, and the other people, and these people are like Superman. They're beyond imagination, and I had to have them tone down their energy when I was dealing with them. I go, you're giving me a headache. It's intense. My whole body was on fire, and some of these beings, I mean, there are master beings out there beyond our imagination that are coming in right now to help, because it's, we're a real distortion in the force right now. Earth is, and everybody's feeling it, and they're saying, okay, enough's enough, and they're coming in. So that's all the chaos we're seeing now, and all the divisions, and that's what they do. Sure. They control people through,
conquer and divide.
Sick, stupid, and divided, and poor. And that's the game. And that whole game is collapsing right now. So we are going to take a quantum leap in evolution, and we are going to move into a golden age of prosperity and everything. And these guys are not aligned with that, and they're not frequency specific to what's coming in. And they're going to take themselves out. Their karma is going to be accelerated and amplified, and everything's going to be revealed, and there's no way out, other than forgiveness, basically, and start, working towards the awakening and healing of humanity, Earth. That's the only way out, because
absolutely,
their path that they're on the downward spiral, and it's going to collapse into social, economic, environmental collapse. And the upward spiral, all the Native American elders talk about it. The people who want to live a spiritual life in harmony with each other on Earth are the ones that are going to continue to go forward. So, and that's what we're in. We're in this big bifurcation process right now. And I was telling people, it's time for the authentic, to make your voice known. It's time to trust your heart, and do your research. Don't believe, what CNN or all the other social media is telling you. And go meet them.
No, don't believe CNN. Yeah.
Be like Socrates. Socrates says, do you have firsthand experience? Do you know this for a fact? If you don't, then you're just spreading gossip and rumor and deception and lies. You're dividing everybody. And that's where, meet the people, and that's with Corey. I heard all this stuff about Corey, and I go, I want to meet him, because they're saying the same things about me. you know. So
I got
I'm
him.
sure
Yeah,
he's,
right.
I'm sure he's over the target and on track. And Corey we spent a lot of time together. Him and his family. They've been to the ranch. You know, we had a great time together. You know, he experienced all the stuff going on there. And you know, just anybody that comes to the ranch, if you come with an open mind, loving heart, and pure intent, you're going to have an amazing experience. And if you come with a bad attitude, that's going to be mirrored right back to you. So it's the way of the universe. And
That's pretty awesome. Corey packs up the whole family. I was listening to his son like give testimony behind it. And they said, "Did you see anything?" He's like, "Hopefully, I'm going to the ECETI Ranch." I was like, "Oh, lucky kid," you know, like yeah. But it was cool. It was definitely cool to hear.
Well, they saw all kinds of things, and they had a great time there.
They're begging to go back.
Yeah.
I'm begging to go. Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah, I had to kind of close down a little bit because, you know, with Jay Widener and Cliff High and all those guys, they were telling people to just crash the gates and jump the fence and it's public property and you can do whatever you want there and they were just smashing me on the air. And so I got a recording of everything they said and then in the interest of transparency, I played it, you know, because I don't care, you know. I played. I go, this is what they're saying, and then they threatened to sue me, and they're still, you know, I got subpoenas and all that shit.
Oh, isn't it? It's so crazy. It's either blackmail or, I mean, it's litigation. One of the two or both, I guess.
Well, the thing is, I didn't slam them. All I did was repost and let people hear what they were saying, and that took care of it, you know. But you can't really sue somebody for telling the truth, or you can't really sue them for using their own words, you know.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you can sue a ham sandwich, I found out. In the United States, but it just won't go very
you won't
far.
win if the truth, but as long as you got some kind of a rational.
But the thing is, in the state of Colorado, I've been in front of 4 different judges. Every single one of them basically straight up to my face insinuated that I gave up my right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness because I talked about aliens and Bigfoot on a TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I know. Isn't that crazy? I'm on my local intel as a quote unquote conspiracy theorist. It drives me insane. I just can't even believe it.
Yeah, we have alleged dirty cops, DAs, and all kinds of stuff that we're looking for that we've been digging into that you know, that we would like to include in this show. I'm probably going to have to move out of Colorado if we do.
I think we've all kind of experienced that. But, you know, luckily, it's funny because the sheriff's department, we're in really good with them. And there's people, you know, that the police in the area, they all come to the ranch and they used to go pick my mom up and bring her out to the conferences, you know, in their car, you know, with the lights going. They come driving in and my mom gets out of the car.
That's kind of cool.
And
they must be nicer than the ones here.
Yeah, they've seen everything. They know it's real. And most of townspeople know it's real, but they can't talk about it because it's a strong Baptist community. But they know what's happening. And, you know, and I show them where it's in the Bible, everything, you know, the sweet energies of the Pleiades, the sons of Arcturus is in there. You've got a disc coming out of the firmament that's got bronze feet like calves, and it's got fire and brimstone coming out from under it. And it lands and it sounds like 1,000 rushing rivers. And you got the pillar clouds that were a fire by night that parted the Red Seas, you know. It's all throughout the Bible, but the Bible is just a little tiny piece of our history. You know, that the earth has been colonized over and over again by the star nations and the peoples from the stars. And you know, even before the Anunnaki, there were people here, which were the ancient Lyrians, and they're the root race. And there was a human evolving here naturally that got tinkered with, you know, and still getting tinkered with and upgraded. So there's a lot of that going on, but in the past, but we need to understand, you know, that, you know, when they show up, they know more about the history of Earth, the origin of religions, the dark side. Everything is going to be exposed, and people are going to have a big truth bomb dropped on them. And they're not here to dominate. They're not here to control. They're here to liberate, basically. And they don't want to be worshipped. And they just want to get us back on track on the upward spiral of evolution. That's basically what they're here for. And because, we took a big wrong turn there, and we're getting back on track. And that's what you're seeing right now, is you're seeing getting off of that satanic Luciferian control dominate timeline and getting back on the universal law timeline. And that's what they're coming for. And they're not to be feared, and they're not to be worshipped. And the ones that you do need to be aware of, the ones that have been here for a long time. We've had some very dark entities here, other dimensional entities, the whole satanic Luciferian. You've got reptilians, royal reptilians, greys, serpent beings, all that stuff. They're all being cleaned out right now. And it's coming to an end. And so it's really, you don't really have to worry about what's coming. It's what's been here that's being removed. And luckily they're helping us to remove these energies.
I truly hope so. I do, because we need some help. We definitely need some help down here.
Oh, they're going to open up a can of whoop ass here really soon. They've been very, very patient. They've been very loving, and they've given us every opportunity to come forward and disclose. And now it's going to come from the sky. They're going to do it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just one of those people. I feel like it's already been done. I don't know how much more they need, but if they got to go and throw something out of front of their lawn or whatever they need to do to make this legit, let's just do it.
I mean, they've got the fake alien invasion up their sleeve, and they're trying to push a nuclear war and all this other stuff, but the benevolent ones aren't going to have it. They can stop a nuclear war, and it's nothing to them. They can shut everything down, and so that's not going to happen. You're going to hear threat. Even the Bible says you're going to hear wars and rumors of wars and all that stuff. We're in those end times. I like what Corey calls it, end time madness, and it is.
Yeah,
it is end time madness. If you look at how people are behaving, they're totally integrally and morally challenged out there, and critical thinking. There's no critical thinking. And I don't want to get political, but I thought about this No King's Day. And I said, well, it's sponsored by communist billionaires and billionaire eugenicists who are going to be your new kings. So how do you think that's going to work out?
Right.
Yeah, you're participating in your own enslavement and eventual demise. These guys are eugenicists, and it's not going to work out well in the end. So you didn't think this one through. Where's the critical thinking in this? They're participating in the Take Down America program. Well, what happens when you take down America? Where's your food going to come from? Where are you going to get your gas? Where are you going to get? Where are you going to get anything? Your net's going to be down. It's all going to be either down or totally controlled. Freedom of speech and all that stuff is gone. And then I was going, really, I'm not political. I don't side. I just side with the awakening of humanity, the earth. But it's illogical. If Trump was a tyrant and he was this evil king, how did they have these huge demonstrations? That would have never been allowed. If he honored the Constitution, free speech, freedom to demonstrate, but when you get violent, then you cross the line, and that's when they step in. But where's the critical thinking, the base common sense? Like, let's say you're successful. I mean, look at New York, look at Michigan, look at California. They've been very successful, and at the expense of sounding non-spiritual. I mean, they're becoming shitholes. They really are, and the crime is off the scale there. the poverty, you know, the drugs problem, everything in these places. And you know, if that's where you want to go, then maybe move to those places and work your stuff out, you know, have fun with it.
Right.
But I
And
know
no
all
need to come back home. Right.
all the people that are paying taxes and covering all the freebies and everything are moving. They're leaving, you know, so,
For
you know,
real.
you're going to be back to road warrior, you know, in those states if you don't figure something out and figure out what's happening.
I feel like it just keeps mounting on. I don't know. In the scenarios I've all had, I'm just trying to kind of piece this together and put it together from what I heard tonight. And
Well,
I just feel like it's
it has to play
all
itself
over.
out.
Yeah,
It has to play itself out, and it will play itself out. And I think I'm sure we'll get through this, especially with the help of the benevolent ones. You know, the ascended masters and the higher dimensional beings and the spiritually and technologically advanced off-worlders, because there is a limit to allowing, and we've gone beyond that limit, and they're probably going to say, hey, rather than destroy humanity and the earth, you know, let's take a different path. And that's really why they're here, to get us back on track on the upward spiral of evolution.
Oh God, and they could have like 50, bazillion different tracks. So no counting on that. But
I think
that
there's
is true.
many tracks as there are people, you know, because everybody's creating their own reality and aligning with, you know, and all this, you know, basically they're really preying on the victims, you know, and it's misplaced and projected victimhood going on, and a lot of sense of entitlement and things like that. And
Oh, for sure.
you know, it's like, you know, I work hard. I work hard for whatever I have, and you know, I help out as many people as I can, you know, on the way. But it's like, if you just expect everything to be done for you and given to you and everything else, and you know, we are going to move into that eventually, because if you have replicators and you have anti-gravity, counter-gravity, and fieldless energy, and you have med beds, that's going to free up a lot of energy and a lot of capital and things like that, where we are going to have time to go out and have fun and experience our soul purpose and get on with all these other higher realms and higher callings. You know, we're going to be able to do all that, and there will come a time when things won't be so tough. It'll be very easy, and I think when we take, you know, we start. I really do think we have plenty of funds to help those who are less fortunate and things like that. When we stop all these wars and get rid of the war on pharmaceutical, the war on disease profiteers, when that comes to an end, you know, all that money going into that stuff can be redirected towards humanity and the earth, and that is where things are going. We are going into a whole different monetary system, and everything. It's all going to be moving in that direction.
I hope so. We need some major improvements, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what it all boils down to. You either operate under universal law or you're not. You know, you're either in service and part of the awakening and healing of humanity and the earth, or you're not. It's not that complicated. And if you aren't operating under universal law, there's going to be karma with that. And you know, the greed and the, you know, all that stuff going on right now, the ill-gotten gain, all that, you're going to lose all that, because everything's going to be revealed, and karma is going to be amplified and accelerated during this process. So, and we're in the middle of that, and that's what all this chaos we're seeing are birthing pains, and people are having to choose which path they're going to take. And again, one path ends in social, economic, and environmental collapse, and the other path is going to move into living a spiritual life in harmony with each other and the earth. And all the Native Americans talk about 1,000 years of peace and a reunification with the Star Nations, and that's where we're going. I know I got a little winded there, but
No, you got so winded it blew off my microphone off the desk over here.
I get on my
I was like,
soap
how
opera,
did you
and,
do it?
I don't have time for all this nonsense, all this. He said, she said, he did this, he did that. I meet the person, I look them in the eyes, and I feel their heart, and I know where they're coming from. It's that simple. And I know where these other people are coming from. It's sad. There's a lot of wounded people that are seeking love and acceptance and approval outside of themselves, and they'll do anything to get it. They'll sell their soul to get it, and for the fame and the money and all the other. And it's very sad.
Selling your soul. That's a great topic too. Corey, do you think of have they dropped a deal? I guess they probably dropped a few deals. You talked about one earlier. I always say when they deal you up, or they always usually involves somebody in your family. It usually kind of involves the money. That's the reason I attribute. Anybody can say what they want. That's the reason I attribute. I have over 50K followers on Twitter. I think they thought that I was going to take their book deal, and I did not.
Yeah.
I did not. Yeah.
I didn't actually make money in this community until after I had left Gaia and all the bullshit had happened. The two documentaries that we did, we made good money off of those. We really did. They both made $1 million their first quarter. That's awesome. Great income. It's honest income. But conferences didn't get paid much. Gaia paid me a few $100s per episode or $1,000 per episode or something. It was chump change. We made enough just to help pay bills and all of that. It wasn't until I became industrious afterwards and started enforcing and growing my intellectual property in different ways, doing unscripted projects, that we started making money. But then we ended up losing it all. Our distributor, 3 years ago, right around the time of that deposition, Chicken Soup for the Soul ended up buying our distribution company, and then they went out of business. You can find an article about it. I can't remember which magazine it's in, but I'm featured in it, and we talk. They owe me $300,000 in unpaid distributions.
Whoa.
$300,000, and I doubt we'll see even a tiny percentage of that.
Oh man,
so
that's brutal.
I had the same thing happen. I had two publishers. I've written 5 books, and they're bestsellers, and just by word of mouth, and I had 2 publishers go bankrupt and take all the funds with them. That was like a big lesson, and so I took all my rights back and I just self-published, and the books have been selling like hotcakes. And what's crazy is in 1980, I was talking about all of this that's happening right now. The earth changes, the expanding sun, the shift in consciousness that's happening, the polarities that's going to happen, all of this stuff. I've been talking about this since 1980, and the effects of the solar cycle, that we're in, and how it affects the bioelectric fields around the body and throws people into process, and you get lethargy, and you get tired, and you get emotional outbursts, and then you have severe weather and earthquake and volcanic activity, and the sun's at the height of its cycle right now, and we are getting hammered we're in G2 solar storms right now, I think, but we're just getting hammered with one, flare and coronal mass ejection after another. And people don't realize the sun is conscious. It's not just the light that's coming to us. There's consciousness and energy coming to us, and the whole universe is conscious. And we don't understand when that sun goes off, you're going to go through a shift. You have to raise your frequencies to match what's happening on the earth. And if you don't, unfortunately, you're not going to fare well. And that's by our choice. We choose which path we want to take.
Yes, we do. That free will kind of gets us every time. I don't know about how much of this we had too
I
before
always tell
coming
people
here.
careful. I mean, I've been ripped off too, millions of dollars that just helping other people out, that we were going to create centers together and do things like that. And I got some donors together, and I live very simply. I don't need much. I just live a very simple life, and I like to keep it that way and spend a lot of time in nature. But I've helped people out, and people, and they all turned. They couldn't block out the unseen negative influences and the faker spirits and all the other crap that jumped in, and they went for the glory, and they went for the, and then I had to sever connections with them because I said, you went off track. You're not operating out of integrity, and that, and so now I'm just kind of just doing my own thing and living simply and off grid, and I don't want to say too much more, but it's I'm just kind of doing my own thing, and I've been turning down a lot of conferences, and Corey's one of the only conferences that I'll do now, basically, because I just experienced such competition and such backstabbing and the attacks going to these conferences that I just said, it's not worth it. If people want to come, to the self-mastery classes and the ambassador training classes, and they're serious about, their own spiritual evolution, then I'm there 100% for you. But this other drama, I don't have time for it.
Yeah, and thank you for being at our conference this year, taking part in it. The Disclosure Summit, please look it up, Disclosure Summit 2025. We would love to have you there, either virtually or be there in person. We're going to be showing our new documentary, a screener to show everyone. The production company, Polyscope, is going to be there, and they want to interview you about your experiences in the community and your contact, your stories. So please come to the conference. It's going to be an amazing opportunity to tell your story, to hear other people's stories of contact. And we just really need to have everyone come together and renew our vigor when it comes to actual disclosure, because like James is saying, the sun is a big plasma ball. It's really no different than the plasma balls we see flying around the sky at his ranch. It's a conscious entity, and we're learning more and more about that type of thing, and we're discussing it openly at these conferences.
The sun, all the suns are connected to the great central sun. And if you want to know where the seat of God in this universe, it's the great central sun. And it's connected to all the other suns, and it orchestrates everything. And people don't understand that. And until you get whacked by a big solar flare, and then you're laid up for a while, and you got all these aches and pains. You go, oh, I guess I better rise to the occasion. There's something talking to me here,
Yeah. In the Disclosure Summit, I went ahead and I put that link in StreamYard, so it should go out in X. Okay, everybody sees it. Okay, good. Awesome.
Great. But anyway, I just want to give kudos for Corey for hanging in there. I know the challenges he and his family have gone through, not just from seen entities, but unseen entities. And we're having the same challenges. And right now, anybody that's authentic are getting hammered because everything's coming out of the woodwork. And a lot of faker spirits coming in out there, and they're giving people messages, and they're creating a lot of this division. There's a dark side, of the lower fourth dimension has everything on there. And we've got people on Earth doing witchcraft and black magic and all this stuff, and we're getting hit by all of it. I know he's been hit by it, and it's an ongoing thing. It's like, I just the other day, something grabbed me and threw me out of my bed, and I was laughing at it. It lost its power. I was laughing at it. It just caught me sleeping, but as soon as I knew what it was, I just called in the higher dimensions and beings, and you can see right behind me here, these lion beings. There are 17-foot tall lion beings out there. They're 7th dimensional beings. And when they come into the picture, it's game over.
So you got thrown out of your bed? Oh Lord.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, I could write a whole book about all the attacks and everything else, but it comes with the territory, and that's why you have to learn self-mastery, and that's why you have to stand up and don't give it any power, don't get into fear, and just laugh at it and get your tool belt, together. Learn how to heal unseen negative influences, how to shield yourself, how to make, alliances with higher dimensional beings and masters and things like that. So, all you got to do is say their name, like people think I'm anti-Jesus. And I said, you have no idea how close Jesus and I are.
Oh,
I mean, we're buds, I don't see him as my Lord and Savior because I'm taking personal responsibility for my choices and actions, and, I don't think they're here to babysit people, but I have the ultimate respect for Jesus and Buddha and Mary and Kuan Yin and all the other masters. I've seen them face to face. I showed you some of the photos we've taken of them, and you just have a meltdown when you connect with these beings and the spiritually and technologically advanced off-worlders. When you come into their frequency, they are so loving and so powerful that you've got to release some things. And a lot of people just start crying, and which is good, because you're releasing things. And so we have to rise to the occasion. We can't expect them to come down and fix everything. We have to rise to the occasion. And the masters are real. The spiritually and technologically advanced off-worlds are real. There's whole civilizations of beings that are living in Christ consciousness or Buddha consciousness. And they're coming in now and adding their consciousness to the collective of Earth. And so this is so massive. There's nobody can stop this. I'm just the narrator of what's happening on the higher dimensions and what's coming in. Like I'm little fish compared to the big picture, and there's no way you can stop this. But we do give people tools and techniques to adjust to the energies and help people get through these times.
It is a lot of hard work. How do you guys both stay how should I put this? Calm, relax, like not uptight about it. Like there's it's just like, I don't know.
Well,
and then you think you're so far and you go in and they're all like, I don't know.
Yeah.
with me, it was a cycle. My family and I, it's in the very beginning, it was very disruptive and hurtful and painful. Everything, going on. But now it's pretty crazy what can become normal in life. And
Yeah.
with abnormal cry, it's just they've hit us with so much that there's really nothing left.
Yeah.
They're just picking up the same stuff that they threw at us before. These people literally destroyed David Wilcock's life. His marriage, his company. He's been swatted by police, the IRS, and these people have rationalized this despicable behavior. He's hasn't had to deal with this type of attacks before. James and I are kind of cut from a different cloth. I was raised by Korean War veterans, and I was spent nights at a VFW hall watching people get beat up and stabbed and all kinds of stuff. I think I was contacted and brought into this mission because of my resilience and how much trauma I have been able to handle without losing my mind. But most recently, we have such inner peace. My son, our whole family, we have this inner peace that we've never had. We have so much excitement for these new projects and everything. So it's just none of that stuff even affects us anymore.
Yeah, I
so
thought,
long.
after having a couple of near-death experiences and, seeing the source face to face, you just see, it's just pure unconditional love and joy and bliss. And when you're in that realm and you're okay with God, whatever name you want to give it, nothing else matters. You go, you can throw all you want at me. I'm okay with creator, because creator doesn't even have an ego. It can't even judge. It's beyond that. It's beyond the names and images and everything else. And then you have that experience, and then you come back, and then you stay centered in that. All the other stuff just falls away. They have no power over you anymore. And it's just, don't react to all the nonsense. I just observe, and I wait, when the timing's right, and drop a couple truth bombs in there, and tell them who they really are,
right.
and how they need to start showing their best side. And that's not who you are. That's your wounds and traumas speaking. And I understand all that. So and I've just learned to laugh at adversity. It's almost funny to me, when people threaten and all that stuff. It's almost kind of like, well, I know where I'm going, after this journey, and
Right.
and I'm good with that. And I'm just going to do the best I can, and that's all that's expected of us, and we're not, the thing about sin, sin's an archery term. It means you missed the mark, and hell's a garbage dump. If you didn't have enough money for a proper burial, they threw you on the garbage and burned you with the rest. And they've created all this wrathful God and all this nonsense to control the masses. And they have no idea who God is and what God is. It's not a little old man with a beard and a book and a lightning bolt. It's and a lot of people are hung up on the little g gods that were here. And they have the bearded God images, of the little g gods. And those were very advanced beings that came here, and some were positive and some weren't. And unless we know our real history, we're not going to understand ourselves or the multiverse that we live in. And we'll just be running around like chickens with our heads cut off, just reacting to we'll be in reactionary mind, reacting to everything, and instead of creative mind, where you're creating your own reality and staying centered and things like that.
Yeah, that's so true too. That is so true.
It's funny. It's funny to me now. It's annoying at times, but it's almost laughable, because the character assassinations went so far that it became laughable. When they told me I was the head of a Russian beast ring.
I'm not there yet, James. I'm not there yet. I hope I can be there soon, but I'm just not there yet.
I don't even know what that is, and it's just, and I have like test tube babies, and I have marriages, all these things. And I've heard it all. And, like everybody, I've had relationships that didn't work out, and I did everything I could to make them work out. And I've always been extremely loyal and honest. That's my nature. And I don't have anything, things go as far as they need to go, and that's just the way of the universe. But, you always have to be true to yourself. I'll tell you one thing I wanted to say, that a master told me this once. He said, selfish is goddish. And I didn't know what he was talking about. I go, no, that's not right. Selfish isn't goddish. That's nonsense. And then I realized what he was saying. He said, you got to be true to your soul and your own soul purpose, and to get on with your mission and why you're here. And sometimes you got to be a little selfish. You got to take time away. You got to take time out in nature. You got to do what you need to do. And if somebody really does love you, they'll understand that, and they won't be totally dependent on you for their love and acceptance and approval. And so if you have a weak mate, male or female, it doesn't matter. Things can jump into them and make your life hell. And I've seen that over and over again. And they create doubt, and they create all these fears, and they play on all that. And so I've been just, kind of being a little reclusive and being out in nature as much as possible, and trying to stay out of all the drama. It's like it's hard to do, because you love people and you want to hang out with people and all this stuff, but then it gets all twisted and perverted, and you just go, whoa, wait. I have a T-shirt that says, "I'm not your father. I'm not your mother. I'm not your ex-lover. I'm just sitting here." And I actually a
Don't
T-shirt.
yell at me for anything else. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not responsible for your joy or your happiness. That's your core that you have to connect with. You know, it's like, you know, it's not my job.
I really do. And then hearing what you said before, and especially with Corey's thing that's coming up, his event that's coming up, I really think people, and Corey, I guess you could probably answer this. I know you know what goes on at these conferences. Are there any like means that like kind of discourages some of this that goes, because that's my biggest pet peeve is going with all these these conferences is what goes down at the conferences.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah, you know, these big mega conferences, it's just unbelievable. I mean, there's like crazy orgies and
yes,
people drinking, you know, at this supposedly spiritual event. You have orgies going in different rooms. You have people drinking to the point of blacking out and getting into all kinds of bad situations. That doesn't happen at our events. People aren't hanging out at the bar. And they're certainly not doing all that crazy stuff, you know, nutty sexual stuff. It's just we have families that come. It's a lot more wholesome than a lot of these other events. The Disclosure Summit, people rave for months after going to it about, you know, what rejuvenating experience it was and help them reapproach life. So I think it's all the energy that you put into creating the event. If you're just looking for money,
and it's based upon a healing energy. It's like, you know, you come in and you can heal these parts of yourself. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's the integrity. You got to maintain the integrity levels and that people are in service mode, because there are a lot of people that are in self-service mode and they're just out for self-gratification and things like that. And a lot of their stories don't add up out there. And a lot of these conferences are filled with these people. And if you are authentic and you go there, they hate you and they come after you and they accuse you of everything they themselves are doing. And then you become a mirror and you amplify all this and it gets even worse. But that's why I've chosen to kind of be a lot more reclusive lately and just, you know, I always say I'll see everybody on the other side of Ascension, you know, I'll meet you there. But because, you know, it is crazy times right now and everybody's in process to one degree or another. And a lot of people don't even have a foundation to go on. You know, they have no foundation whatsoever. And they're running to one shiny object after another. Whoever has the most incredible story, whether it's true or not, they're going to just run to this shiny object. And they're all, and they're being disempowered. And I like a lot of people that at Corey's thing are empowering the people to, they're giving knowledge, you know, but there's always the wraparound where it comes back to your own personal responsibility and they give you tools and techniques and things like that. And that's what conferences need to be about.
It is too. That's definitely what conferences need to be about. All this other stuff, the escorts, I don't know, even the cosplay can go. I mean, it when it crosses some lines, and it has.
Yeah.
Don't think it has. I don't know what to tell you because it has. It most definitely has. And it's like once it crosses those lines, it will keep escalating. I don't think it's just going to stop there unless I'm totally.
You know how many people that we've had to clear that got involved in this nonsense and they come back and they've got all these entities on them and they're like signed up for the rubber room basically. And we have to off of them and get them. And I go, look, you gave your power away, you know, outside of yourself. You need to pull your energies in and make your own personal connection with Creator and don't get into this see me, dig me worship thing going on, you know, just, they're going to just suck you dry. And so it's a learning experience for them. But we have to clean up the mess all the time because people don't clear the energies. They don't create sacred space and they let anything come in. You know, there's one guy out there, you know, I won't mention his name, but he goes, there are no negative ETs out there. You know, we just have to open wide and let anything in through us and stop being spiritual snobs and everything. That's the most unconscious thing I've ever heard in my life, because there are negative entities out there. There are negative ETs.
Or is the initials MK? I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay.
if you don't mind, I've seen a few of the trolls in the question.
Okay.
Yeah, one asked about the glove I was wearing during the deposition. I've had surgery. I have nerve damage, and it was like a Prussian glove. And another person is holier than thou, talking about me cheating on my wife. When all of that happened, Stacy and I were already separated and going through a very rough time because of cyber stalking and all of that. A lady we worked with was interested in me, took her shot. It didn't work out. It's as simple as that. So the holier than thou whack jobs of the community that think that they have some sort of moral vector against me for being on my wife.
Right.
It was we were going through a rough time, a separation, and that's what went down. I don't care what anybody else says. So
Thank you, Corey, for coming in and saying that.
Yeah,
I had him starred. I just didn't know. I was like, man, but you know, this is great because you're clearing the air, and that's what it's all about. So, did you guys hear that out there on Twitter? Please go and run and tell the 50 other people who told you about it that we have an answer. I mean,
yeah, make clips.
make lots of clips.
Yeah, it's
And
kind of
add
like
this to it, me to the trolls. It didn't work, guys. I'm coming back bigger, stronger than ever, and you guys are about to crap your pants when you see what all is about to come out the next.
The tide's changed. You know, the tide is turning,
Switch.
and these other guys are collapsing in on themselves. They've got nowhere else to go, and they are going to take a lot of their followers with them, unfortunately. But you know, that being authentic and the truth is coming forward, and everything is being revealed. And the people that are spreading all this gossip and everything else, what I've seen, I go, God, I must be an incredible mirror, because everything they're saying, they themselves are doing.
Yes.
And
In every case, every case,
single time.
if you listen close enough, people will tell you their intentions, because they'll accuse you of that which they do.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yes.
It's changing now, though. It's
So true.
I'm telling people, you know, the authentic need to come forward. You need to step back in. You know, it's like, and this other nonsense is collapsing in on itself. You know, a lot of these conferences aren't happening now. They're not getting the numbers, and
I'd hate to say I feel bad about those conferences not getting the numbers, but man.
Well, I mean,
all of them are. All of them are. Even ours have struggled lately. It's people don't.
No,
have
we
the
need to
money
get
and
everybody
they're
to
discouraged.
Corey's. The rest of them. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of like
we need.
There's a combination of things. One, there's so much chaos going on right now, and a lot of people financially aren't doing very well, and people just aren't traveling, and it's just a phase that we're going through. But that's going to shift, and when this other program collapses, and it is, then where are they going to go? And I was saying, this one master told me, he said, you know, James, don't go chasing this stuff down. Don't worry about it. He said, everything comes from one point and everything returns to that point. And he said, be the point, you know, and I thought about that. And that's why, you know, I don't have to, you know, only the ego needs defending. I don't have to defend myself on any of this stuff. I will call people out at times for their nonsense, but it's just like it doesn't matter to me. I don't care what you think about me. I really don't. I'm good with Creator.
We got another one. Yes.
They're saying Corey
anything you want about me. If I mirror and amplify things, you know, if I push your buttons, they needed to be pushed, and I do that occasionally, you know, and you know, I do have bad humor every once in a while. You know, it's like,
no, I think it's
to me, the spiritually incorrect humor is the funniest, you know, because I've mastered judgment. You know, I don't, You know, if you go hang out with the lamas and the yogis, they have wicked senses of humor, the real ones, and they're always laughing and nothing serious, and they know your buttons and they're going to push them. And they
That's
don't
why
do it. It's not a one-up game. They're doing it to let you look at things you need to clear and heal, because those are the chinks in your armor you need to deal with that let all this other nonsense in. And so if you're standing with a real master, they're going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And they're probably going to piss you off at times, you know, but they're so centered in their love and joy and bliss, you can't touch them. You know, you can't.
Yeah.
And they don't care what you think about them. They all they care about is that you heal and you evolve, basically.
So true. That's so true. I really believe that too. Definitely. Absolutely. So in saying all this too, Corey, kind of give people a rundown of what's going to go on at your conference that's coming up here not too long from now.
Yeah,
Another month.
it's coming up quickly, November 7th, 8th, and 9th. We're going to have a number of speakers. I don't have the list ready here. I don't know where I put it.
You're gonna have some major support on this conference, because that's when everything's gonna really hit the fan, when the ETs are gonna really play their hand.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going to show our documentary. We're going to be shooting part of the new television show there. You know, I'm really hoping that by then, you know, we have a Kickstarter campaign where people can pre-order our book, 20 and Back Project Moonshadow, being written by Andrew McCaslin, a former Navy SEAL, a good friend of mine. Colin Palmer is writing the script for the feature film. We have production companies and funding and stuff lined up. Please support our Kickstarter campaign. Go to Kickstarter, look for 20 and Back Project Moonshadow. I'm sharing more information that I have learned about this non-human intelligence and these secret programs than I've ever shared before. And I'm doing it under the guise of entertainment and fiction, so I can really let it all out and not deal with as many death threats and ramifications as I have in the past. So please support this book. It's going to be a film, the video games tying into it. It's going to make a huge difference in the mass consciousness. And so much truth is going to be presented through the fiction that when all this stuff starts happening, the orbs appear in the sky, people are not going to be as freaked out. They're going to be prepared. So please support the book.
That's amazing. And two, tell people where they can find you at, Corey.
Well, they can find me at CoreyGoode.com. I'm also, people say they don't see me delivering intel and information anymore. I don't on YouTube, just because all the LARPs out there steal it and twist it, and within 3 days they're all echoing the same. So I release it all on AscensionWorks.tv. We ask people to come and join. You can join for free or have a paid membership. I'm also, I'm doing the books and the graphic novels. We're also, doing a handful of scripted shows. Unscripted shows in the paranormal genre. So you guys get ready. You're about to see a whole lot more of me and my information. It's going to go viral again, but bigger, way bigger than anything we did at Gaia. Gaia censored our television show and all of my information, but now we're going to repeat Cosmic Disclosure, all of the information that I
that's awesome.
Released on Cosmic Disclosure in a different format that's going to be even more viral. And
so is this the network, Corey? Is this the networking coming or what?
Yeah, it's a network thing coming. And if Gaia hadn't removed all of my Cosmic Disclosure episodes, this wouldn't be possible. So they're removing all of my information is helping me. If those all of those episodes were out right now, our deal would be dead. So we're going to repeat and release a lot of that information in a much longer form with special effects, reenactments, and all kinds of other fun things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Guy, I think really has been dying for a very long time. They've needed new content and quite frankly, a new content provider, a new channel. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. And if there's anything we can do to get that information out and around, please, by all means, don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, there's so many old stories out there. The 70-year-old stories, like disclosure's been a failed thing for over 70 years, and that's the reason why, because it's been a controlled narrative, and people are just done with it. That's why a lot of people aren't going to a lot of these other events and things like that. So now we have to create a whole new venue for this to happen, and we're working on that. We're having a big with Peter Slider and myself here in Hawaii. We're having that coming up in February, an event here in Hawaii. And then when I get back to the ranch, we're going to have some major events at the ranch too as well.
Yes.
So people can come and see for themselves. They can experience the higher dimensional energies and the ships and everything else. And that's a real bee in their bonnet, is that this isn't an old story. This is ongoing. It's still happening. And we filmed so many ships here in Hawaii that are coming in, powering up, going into the ocean, coming out. We've got C-130s flying over us. They had an aircraft carrier parked out here a little while ago. And, they're checking it out. They're trying to figure it out. But I always say, you guys, I'm totally transparent. Come have a cup of coffee. I'll tell you all I know. It's all positive, and what we need to do to turn this planet around. I mean, I'm not hiding anything, So, but anyway, that's what we need.
A cup of coffee there tastes just like Hawaii.
Oh yeah, we've got the best coffee on the planet right now, and we're getting ready to put it out there. And it's so funny. It's like hand picked, hand dried, hand pulped. Everything's done. It's roasted. We take it to the local roaster. There's no chemicals, no Roundup, no pesticides. It's all, and it tastes like Hawaii when you drink it. There's no cutter. No, it's not cut with anything. It's just the whole bean. And I'm up there blessing every little tree while I'm picking it.
That's awesome.
So it's like a high energy. But
yes. And if you need an event coordinator, James, you know who to call.
We're looking. I'm sure I'll be working with Corey and some others in the future that are high integrity, and we're going to start really bringing out the true information of what's really going on. And because the old world's collapsing, that old program, the old controlled narrative is just, I sent the Anna, Paulina, Luna, I sent her a copy of the ambassador training class. Cool. It's all on DVD and everything. Or
she probably looked at it. She probably was very interested in it when you sent it, from what I've seen of her.
Yeah, and you know what I've seen from the questions she's asking, she definitely saw it. And
cool.
and so there's other people in there that I've sent things to, and they're really informed, and I've even had some very high level people that I can't talk about that have come, and they just say, hang in there, just hang in there. We know what you're doing. We know it's true, and hang in there. We can't bring it out now. We can't talk now, but we're going to, and they're names that you definitely know. So we're just hanging in there until it's time, and it's rough, it's got to tighten the belt a little bit, but I think eventually this is all just going to explode. Like truth, the more you suppress truth, it's like a pressure cooker. It's just going to blow. And that's what's getting ready to happen. And when it does blow, people are going to come to those who are authentic, and to find out what's really going on. The other guys are going to fall away.
And we're going to tell them to go watch the CNN news. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where can they find you at, James? Tell them about you, your show on Saturday.
Well, yeah,
Rumble.
you can go to ECETI.org and at ECETI.org, or you can go to ECETI Stargate on Rumble, on Telegram, on X, and it's on YouTube. We haven't been posting our shows on YouTube because I've gotten so censored and demonetized so many times that we just put a lot of the footage and the UFO footage and things up there. But we'll probably start putting the show back on YouTube. And we're also on BBS Radio, which is the big one. I mean, the show goes out to millions of people. And,
That's awesome.
and you know, you're going to hear some things you may not want to hear because I don't mess around. You know, it's like I call things out. And I go, this is what's really going on. And so some people are going to get a little butthurt at times, you know, and get a little upset. But, you know, I am a little conservative in some ways, but I'm very open-minded, you know, and you know, but, you know, there is, you know, you got to come from impeccable integrity. And, you know, if you don't, you know, it's going to come back and bite you. And so, there's a lot of people.
Intention is everything. That's what James has
Yeah, they're so socially engineered right now that they've lost all critical thinking and all foundation, you know, and you know they're very integrity and critical thinking and morally challenged right now, and so you know I kind of provide a foundation, you know, and if you're out of integrity and you're operating out of universal law, you know, we might point that out to you. So
we might.
We might. Do. You know, we get bombarded by trolls.
Yeah,
we get all the trolls and everything. I have great moderators, and they just bam, they're gone. You know, we don't play around anymore.
You can't. You really can't.
But yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of weird because I've been talking about these events that are coming up, and I've written it about it in my books for like 40 years ago, and now it's all happening, you know, and yeah, so it's like we're like.
And James does not tell the future, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm not your fortune teller.
No. So
although I have seen a lot.
Right.
Where people can end up, you know.
But he's not reading fortunes because, well, that's instantly where people go to, like, oh, they're really that psychic, and I'm like, you don't understand on this one.
No, we do transpersonal release sessions where we go in, and first we clear any unseen negative entities, and then we find out who your main teacher and guide is, and then we find out your past lives and clear that stuff up. And then we find your beneficial guides and hook you back up with your star families and things like that. At the end, they give you this big love feeding, you know, and they're really powerful. It's like taking the quantum leap in spirituality when you go through these sessions. And I've had a lot of people that have gone through these sessions. And they go, man, that was a spiritual roto-rooter. You know, it just went in and pulled everything out. And they take a huge jump, you know, in consciousness. But that we're all about empowering the individual. And, you know, that's our whole focus. No guru, you know, no followers, you know, that people come are serious and they really want to get some tools and get clear and get on with their lives, basically. And that's what we're all about.
And is there any plant medicine?
No, we don't do any drugs or any plant medicine. And there's reasons why. For a long time, there's a lot of rumors going around that I was a drug operation, and I
why would I even ask? Yeah,
smoking pot and everything else. And we had sheriffs coming over, and I said, yeah, come on in, check the place out. There's nothing here, and they did, you know. So we have to kind of draw a line there because we don't do any mushrooms or plant medicine or anything else. But you can do everything naturally, and that's what we teach people how to do that. You don't need. You know, a lot of times, if you take a lot of these psychotropics and things like that, they're in control. The plant is in control. The drug is in control, and you're not. And you can get thrown into levels that you're not prepared for. And you can have either a hellish experience or you can have a positive experience. And so You really have to learn self-mastery so you can maintain control if you're going to go into these higher dimensions, because not everything is friendly out there.
No, gosh,
there are
no.
things that
Not
would
even by
really
your
like to
stretch of
see.
your imagination. Yeah, no
Yeah,
way.
they'd love to torture you and eventually see you dead. I mean, and that's unfortunately a lot of leadership are playing with those beings, and so they're getting called out now. But
I have to agree with you on that
yeah,
one.
that whole war, disease, profiteer thing, that's all satanic Luciferian,
Oh, yeah.
and so that's all collapsing. It's being revealed, what they're
It's
all.
just also sick. You can't believe how far wide it has spread, and how this is stretched into. I mean, really, it's like in every aspect of every person's life at this point. It spreads that quickly. It really does.
Yeah, the whole anti-America, take down America program and everything else. Like I said before, has anybody thought this through?
No, not until you said
Result.
something.
What's the end result? Like Armageddon, or is it like no food, no gas, no travel, no
I don't
road
know.
warrior? Is that where we really want to go? Like they didn't tell you the end result. They just played on all your victim patterns and trying to get everybody divided. But people never think it through. Like, what's the end result? And little critical thinking. Who are your overlords? Who's sponsoring this stuff? You really got to do some research on this before you grab some flag and start flying it. And you're going to find out nothing is as you were told or as you thought it was.
Nothing is so you thought it to be. That's so true. And truth is far stranger than fiction. That's another.
You know what? If people knew, I mean, I've written about it in my books and the Ultimate Soul Journey. I talk a lot about it, but the truth is so much more bizarre than fiction.
Oh, it is too. Yeah.
And there's so much more to it, and there's so many dimensions to it and everything else. I said, just why not go there? Why settle for all this other drama and fantasy? And like Corey was saying too, people were taking my newsletters and reading them verbatim and saying they were channeling them from their guide, their fictitious guide, and and all this other stuff going on. And I used to tell people, that the only good chips come with salsa, So it's like, we need to all go within and stop being, stop worshiping and looking outside of yourself, because that's where you're going to get, tripped up.
For sure. For sure. And then Corey, do you want to tell them, I know you kind of gave a brief description, but do you want to tell them exactly where they can find you on social media?
Yes. Corey Goode Official on Twitter is a good place. I also have Corey Goode on TikTok and YouTube. Corey Goode. It used to be Sphere Being Alliance, but it might still be. I think I changed it to Corey Goode Official. But most of what I do now is on ascensionworks.tv, and the fictional work I'm doing and unscripted paranormal work I'm doing is at disclosurecomics.com. And we recently have spoken to some new potential investors. If people are interested in investing in the new company with the video games, the books, and films and everything, feel free to send us our information request at info@disclosurecomics.com. We're just kind of putting the feelers out right now, but if you want to be a part of this new big disclosure IP that we're building, it's kind of like a mini Marvel and DC, but it has a strong spiritual undertoning, and we're bringing knowledge to people subconsciously, even that when we have to, meeting people where they are, playing games, films, and all of that. If you want to be a part of that, we would love to have you on our team. We're going to be, bringing on more writers and other people in the entertainment industry, and we're really starting to grow. So at least sit back and watch the phoenix rise from the ashes, because this phoenix is on fire and it's going to fly high. We've gone through 5 years of not being able to get anything freaking done, just total deadpan stop to everything we were doing. And now, like James said, something has switched in the pendulum, and everything's taking off at the same time. I've never been so freaking busy, with all these shows and the book and I'm just
Amazing. Yeah.
busy. Yeah.
Well, hey, if you need anybody to broadcast or be your live broadcaster from any event, James, you too, right here. I know one of the best myself. And yeah, no need to look any further. I would be more than happy to do
I
it.
had to get you out to Hawaii here.
Yes. Oh,
I was
yes.
out swimming with the turtles this morning, and dolphins weren't around, but
Swim with the turtles. I would love that. Oh, yes. Right on that'd be excellent. It's freezing here. It's like 46, dreary, and so that sounds absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's like I think 7:00 here right now, and it's still like 75 or something out.
Killing me over there. You're killing me.
It stays right around mid 80s to 70. It's always right in that range, 70 at night.
It's been a while since I've been to Hawaii, so I didn't know. And I guess on closing, guys, is there anything that you wanted to leave our guests with in particular? I don't just a little saying, if it's just something close to your heart, or nothing at all.
Well, I think what James is saying about these beings getting ready to introduce themselves to us, leaving the whole military disclosure thing behind and just working through people like us and directly with people is coming. I think he was right. I think that all of us should prepare for that. We should, be prepared that our truth, a lot of the stuff that we've been taught in this community, is not going to happen. It's not going to be like that. This religion we've made out of some of this stuff is ridiculous. We just need to live in the moment. The moment is now. Disclosure is happening. You can be a part of it, or you can be one of the skeptics and naysayers who misses out on all the magic.
Yeah, ditto on that too. I mean, they told me, Siobhan, one of the plating commanders, said that he said, because keep an eye around November 7th. He said some big events are going to bust loose. So again, they're done trying to go through normal channels, and their disclosure is going to come from the skies, and they need a lot of people like us to help people assimilate, public acclamation, to help people understand what's going on and get out of fear, and get out. There's nothing to fear with what's coming. It's we're being liberated from what's been here, and so
I don't fear them. I fear the people. But I get what you're saying.
And the only other message I would have is that the people out there that are having so much fun making fun of the bankruptcy and trying to twist everything I've said about my relationship with my wife and this and that, have fun. Thank you for helping us sell this television show. Alien Mania, the subculture war for disclosure. I've been trying to get it going for 5 years. Production companies were too scared. No one wanted to do it. But now we have a true crime group that's used to the controversy. We're really going to shine a light on the disclosure movement, and all you trolls are going to get your day in the sun.
Oh yeah.
I want to add one thing about that is that I never worry about this stuff because karma's quick. Especially when we're operating on a different frequency, and if you're going to pull something like that, you're going to have almost instant karma now. But the Blajee, one of the Pleiadians I was working with, these guys were just hammering me, and their UFO reporting center guy, all these guys were just lying and saying they sent engineers out, and even the engineers said, no, we saw everything there, and they twisted the reports and all this stuff, and so Blajee said, no, don't go after him, just document everything. And I go, okay. And so I just documented everything, and then I just released it all. And she said, the negative, goes around the world twice before the positive has its time to tie its shoes, basically.
Right.
And unfortunately, we thrive on the negative stuff and the drama and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
So it said, just collect all the evidence and then dump it out. And those guys are gone now. I mean, you don't even hear from these people. anymore.
Definitely, though, it is easier clinically. It is easier to stay sick than it is to just get on a different path in life. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So it's the boomerangs, coming back right now, and some people got some really big boomerangs coming back at them, and so
Yeah.
I just say, careful, you're going to hurt yourself.
James is watching him peg in the head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Karma's a crazy thing. We've
That's
burned through our
called karma. Yeah.
We've burned through our karma, and I think that's why we've burned it all off. That's why things are taking off the way they are.
Isn't James amazing at doing that stuff? I've had him do a clearing before, and he just helped me with something the other night, and he is amazing at what he does.
I was calling him like at least once a month there for a while to have him do clearings. We were being so bombarded with shadow beings, demons, and all sorts of nasty beings that were coming into our house. We were good at kicking them out, but they would come right back within a week. It was a constant process. So yeah, he was very helpful during that time.
They're saying I'm a spiritual hitman. somebody
that
said
sounds
that
right.
That
sounds good.
Hitman, and I said I just have friends in high places.
You got it. Yeah, you have that kind of level, and people be chasing you down. We need that. We need the hitman guy. Yeah.
But but I want people to be their own spiritual hitmen.
Yeah, I know.
No dependencies. We're here to empower people to.
I loved what you said before, James. You're like, it's on them. If they did good, I'm not taking credit for it. If they did bad, I'm not at fault for it. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't take blame or credit for anything. We've had miracle healings happen there on a regular basis. People with broken backs and broken arms and things like that. Spontaneous healings happen a lot. And I tell people that's between you and Creator. We just created a space for it. So I said, so it's not me. They go, oh, thank you. I know it wasn't me. I said, your belief healed you. Your openness healed you. We just created a container for it. And because you have to get in that, you can't swell with pride when something happens, and you can't shrink with fear when things happen. You just have to hold that space, that neutral space. I call it loving detachment.
Loving detachment. That doesn't sound as bad.
No.
Loving everyone. There's some people I don't know. I'm just not at that point yet, I think.
I think it's funny because they are going to hurt themselves. And everything's amplified. Everything's amplified right now. Everything's
for sure.
And if you side with the dark and you take that path, they own you.
They do too.
And you're gone. I mean, your soul's gone, basically.
Yes. You can see when it happens. You can see the person, their face even changes. The parts
and everything's being revealed. Everything's being amplified and accelerated right now. So I don't have to do. That's why I say I'm just sitting here. Whatever you do is going to come back. 10 or 1,000-fold. So have fun.
So you're just sitting with the popcorn.
Yeah.
That's not a bad way to be.
Gotta get my spiritual popcorn together.
That's right.
I'm growing corn here.
With the fresh coffee beans,
fresh
from Hawaii, that I hear taste just like Hawaii. So that's pretty amazing. So I guess
a lot of the coffee growers here, we gave them some to test it out, and they go, "What are you doing? What are you doing to your?" They go, "I got high." They go, but it was a really smooth high. It's not that jittery high, And they go,
"Oh, that kind of high." Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
The nice coffee high. High on
but it's real smooth and real mellow. It's not a lot of coffee is cut. They put all kinds of garbage in there.
Oh,
and people are just now finding that out. There's a lot of lawsuits about it right now. So ours is just 100%.
They just started to read the backs of things.
Yeah. Contains some coffee beans.
Yeah, right.
Reconstructed coffee beans. No.
GMO. Oh, man. Well, yeah, you guys, I have had absolutely a ton of fun. Corey Goode's documentary is going to be coming out. He's got if you haven't seen it yet, we're going to put the links all in the description if they are not there. So you can check out the conference. You can check out the documentary. You can check out, what's going on, what's coming up. And with James, the same thing. ECETI.org. Definitely check him out. He's doing stuff all the time, and he's picking very good coffee right now. So, and then I guess just the event next month, as we know, and James is talking about having one more towards next May. So we'll keep you posted. Like I said, go ahead, check out their websites, check the descriptions are in the box. So yeah, until next time, I guess again, we gave our parting words. Is there anything else, James, that I missed, or Corey, that you wanted to stop me before I stopped us?
No, I think we covered quite a lot tonight.
I know we did, and it was fantastic. So yes,
mainly I just wanted to say, it's not rocket science. Universal law is not rocket science. It's just about being kind and loving to each other and being kind to the planet. It's really that. It all boils down to that. You're either
James,
doing
we
that
should do
or
a
you're
show
not.
on this, because I don't think people realize what universal law is.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's very basic.
Yeah, like that basic. I'm not sure how.
Well, yeah, it's like universal peace, brother, sister, love, individual freedom, and prosperity for everybody. If it's not aligned with that, like the old Cherokee saying,
Yeah.
if it isn't good for everyone, it isn't good.
Well, then I'm gonna get a little card printed up or something, and with people, because I've heard that a few times about the universal law, and I was like, well, I'll check. I think they're all the same. I think I was looking them up for myself. So yeah,
it's real basic. It's just follow your heart and come from your soul. Basically, your soul's connected to God, connected to Creator. And you go through the heart. There's a little cavity right here that's electrical.
Mm-hmm.
Your soul actually sits right there, and if they do an operation with a metal tool and touch it, you'll short the whole body out.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, and so they have to use plastics if they're going to do work. There's an electrical. There's a little electrical cavity there, and that's where your soul leaves. It goes out the crown and takes off when you're gone.
Oh,
and actually film it.
That is fascinating. I just don't know if I'm going towards the white light or not.
Go to the golden white light.
Is that where you're
supposed to go? The thing is, you follow the emotion, you follow the love and the joy and the bliss. That's where you go, and don't stop to talk.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of planes and dimensions, and you can get caught on those. Don't stop. Just follow. You'll feel this incredible love and joy and bliss, and that's where you go. Unless you get hijacked.
Yeah. So you hear so much. Go to the white light. Don't go to the white light.
You can always come back. You can always come back down.
No, that's what I'm trying to avoid.
I mean, once you make it to the top, you can always. The higher levels are fully aware of everything going on in the lower levels, but the lower levels are not always aware of the higher levels. So you can always, once you reach the top, you can always come back and hang out, and help your families if you want or whatever, but then you're not stuck there. You're not going to get stuck.
Well, that's good. Then I can do that. I can do that. No problem. Well, again, yes, we'll have to do something again soon. This has been a lot of fun. We do appreciate both of you giving us your Thursday afternoon, late afternoon. I guess it depends on if you're in Hawaii or not, James.
And make this viral. Tell send this out to everybody. Get this information out there, because it really needs to be, getting out there to the masses. And you're doing a great job, Coley, by the way, of getting that out there. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to be hitting this hard. So everybody, if you heard that in chat, please go ahead and get this out there to everyone. I think it's so important. Twitter, they were already having a little bit of a breakdown earlier. So we hope that you all are not in, down on the ground in a fetal position, rocking back and forth over this, because there's no need. There really isn't.
You're going to get all kinds of interference. Technological interference when you get
electrical interference.
When you're really putting this energy out like this, you're going to get all kinds of interference. So you just have to just flow with it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the therapy that they do, electroshock therapy. I thought that's where we're going. But
no. I mean, they go after your computer. They go after your emails. They go after everything. And they'll mess.
I know.
You're trying to put on a show, and they'll come in and throw all kinds of monkey wrenches in there. And so You just have to roll with it.
Yes, you do. You do not give them your power. So
Yeah.
again, yeah, I'm gonna let you guys get going.
Don't get
Enjoy
upset,
the rest
Gilliland.
of your Thursday evenings. Yeah. And again, that was an amazing show, even though I cannot see myself on stage. I can just see the stage. Um, that was awesome. That was awesome. Corey Goode, he came, he had, was able to get some of that out there and to set his record straight because he really deserves it, guys. He really does. If you get to know him, I mean, he really is like a family man. He's got, I mean, his grandpa and they're all, I mean, in the church. And just to even hear all this now and then to think this cult stuff going back before, or the Corey no good, or the things like that with, I know the people that did it. I know the people who did it. And it was wrong when I heard it back then, and it is more wrong now. It's more wrong because everybody has stayed silent to a certain degree. Everybody has just put their heads in the sand and continued going forward when we know, and a lot of us know, and especially looking back, if you can say, okay, I gave him that opportunity to come forth and tell us everything about what happened, then okay, well, but I haven't heard anybody yet. Seriously, before, especially in the nowadays, when you hear stuff like this, you need to go and you need to find out from that person. Give them the opportunity, give them the chance to explain themselves and what may or may not have happened. There's so much to this and so much to these games that our local, down to our local police department, are playing. I mean, you're talking about court cases, you're talking about things that wrap your life up. It creates chaos, and it's not needed. I mean, it really is not needed. So I really appreciate Corey Goode. I welcome him to our community. And if anyone on X, they don't like it, they can go sit in another room or sit under another space. But I truly believe that Corey deserves his second chance. I don't think he should have lost his first, but let me make it clear, he definitely deserves a second chance. So, and Mr. James Gilliland, he is the man, the myth, the legend, and he deserves to be at conferences too. Like, he's gone in, he's done and proven and done all these things that are so, just above, like, what I shouldn't say, I don't want to just say normal people, but whatever you people call you selves that don't partake in anything like extraordinary, because James definitely does. He does so much for everybody. He does so much, like, to help things along. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've called him and like, James, I think I have something in my house, I need a clearing done. And he's just a good person all around. They both are. They both are. Corey Goode and James Gilliland, great people, excellent people. And I hope that Corey's documentary goes and works out. It's amazing, guys. I know, like, I got to kind of brief it or see it, whatever, but it was amazing. And I'm telling you, I can't give you any cliffhangers and I can't give you any secrets, but definitely go see that video when it comes out. You will not regret it. It ties everything in together, and he did an absolutely fantastic job with it. And it's on the ECETI Ranch. How could you get any better from there? So you got James and his ranch, and you got Corey Goode, and they're going there. And I mean, that sounds like the best, like, fun in the world. So awesome. We will be back to you guys next Friday. What am I talking about? Friday night at 7 p.m. and Saturday. And I do not believe we have anything as of Sunday, but let me let you know because I got to find out from my good buddy Bruce Fenton. But we will definitely be back here with you tomorrow night. And until then, thank you for taking the journey into the unknown with Coley, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.
Unraveling the mystery, secrets in the night. We travel through the cosmos, ready for the flight. Together we'll shine, casting shadows aside, in the heart of the rhythm where our dreams collide.
Join the Nation next quest, the truth is our guide. In the vast expanse, it's where we reside. Hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves around us, everything's alright.
On this Nation quest, the truth is our guide. In the vast expanse, it's where we reside. Hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves surround us, everything's alright. SNX radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spots. Heavy bass drops with tight beats.
Illuminate the shadows, the echo of our call.
On this roller ring will never fall.
Feel the energy rising, can you sense the spark? As we dive deeper into the cosmic arc.
Stories of the universe, mysteries unfold. In the heart of SNX, where the truth is gold. Every note we play, every line we write, crafting our legacy, shining ever bright.
SNX radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spot. Here in the spotlight, we're taking our turn. With the fire in our hearts, let the passion burn. SNX radio's call, ringing through the air. Together we rise, together we dare.
So join us now, let the rhythm flow. With SNX radio, we're ready to go. Unraveling the mystery side by side, we stand hand in hand. In this dance of truth,